across the border into Russia has now been acknowledged by Ukraine's leader.
President Volodymyr Zelensky has broken the government's silence on a surprise Ukrainian military incursion into Russia's Kursk border region. In a video address, Zelensky indirectly acknowledged the ongoing military actions. He said the commander of Ukraine's armed forces had sent him multiple reports about the frontline situation and what he called our actions to push the war out into the aggressor's territory. Ukraine's raid into Russia caught Moscow unaware and was an embarrassment to Russian military leaders who have scrambled to contain the breach. I'm Karen Chamas.
And some 76,000 people have fled their homes in the Russian border region, heeding government calls for them to clear out. Saying the mission is to defend Israel in the event of an Iranian attack, the U.S. boosting its military presence in the Middle East, sending more equipment and personnel to the region. In a neighborhood in Harford County, Maryland, northeast of Baltimore.
I thought it was a major earthquake. My daughter says otherwise. What did you say it was, Lo?
I thought it was a bomb.
It was an exploding house. Happened early yesterday morning, leaving a utility contractor and the homeowner dead and damaging surrounding homes. Natural gas leak suspected of touching off the powerful blast and shook people out of their early Sunday morning slumber. The Kamala Harris campaign trying out a new theme. Harris casting herself and running mate Tim Walz as joyful warriors. The Trump campaign says former President Trump is clear-eyed about the many challenges facing the country and is not about to sugarcoat them. The Trump camp also criticizing Harris for a lack of detailed proposals for fixing what's wrong. On Wall Street, Dow futures 47 points higher. The NASDAQ futures are up 49 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-504-8790. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-504-8790. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-504-8790.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
A Kenyan cult leader is on trial for manslaughter in connection with the deaths of more than 400 of his followers.
Paul and Thengi Mackenzie was brought to a magistrate's court in Mombasa, along with around 90 men and women who are also on trial for manslaughter. The self-proclaimed pastor is alleged to have incited his followers and their children to starve to death. Former members of the cult have described how they were given instructions to begin fasting so that they could get to heaven. The prosecutor says 400 witnesses have been prepared. Some will present their testimonies in private this week. The horror of what took place in Shakahola Forest led many Kenyans to question why the police failed to intervene when there were clear warnings about the behavior of the cult leader.
The BBC's Will Ross. International Criminal Court prosecutors say they're actively monitoring events in Venezuela. Security forces in the Latin American nation have launched a crackdown on the opposition in the wake of its disputed presidential election. News and analysis, townhall.com. Small businesses along popular vacation destinations like boardwalks and piers say the number of tourists flocking to the waterfront is back to normal, returning to pre-2020 levels.
While affluent tourists are spending freely, lower-income vacationers are sticking to carefully planned-out budgets and buying less on impulse. According to the U.S. Travel Association's forecast, 2024 tourism volume is expected to top 2019's numbers for the first time since the pandemic began, with 2.45 billion trips taken. The USTA adds domestic tourism is rebounding faster than international tourism.
Correspondent Jeremy House. The feds approving the first nasal spray to treat severe allergic reactions, offering an alternative to injectable products like EpiPen. The FDA approving the spray as an emergency treatment for adults and older children. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy, oh so happy Monday, everybody.
Yeah, that's not real. Happy Monday. You're full of crap.
It's real and I wish you had one.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I'll give you that.
I would truly love for you to have a happy Monday. Whether it's going to happen.
Nah, can't be that bad. Let's just get up and face it and see what happens.
Garfield hates Mondays, therefore we must all hate.
That is true. That is true.
But there's those shift workers and, those certain people that are like, I love Monday. Monday's the day where I watch all the masses go to work while I sit in my office.
See, and that's the thing. Shift workers do get to use the phrase, this is my Friday.
Uh-huh.
I almost never get to say that because my Friday is everybody else's Friday.
You should just say it anyway.
This is my Friday.
All right. Walk
not
around
yours,
tell
mine.
people that. Yeah.
Care what you say. This
You might
is my
start
Friday.
a movement.
Taking it back. Take it Friday back.
Well, happy not Friday.
Yes.
It is Monday, everybody. And
Yes.
welcome to it. Hope everybody had a great weekend.
Good weekend for you?
Yeah, I had a great weekend. We, of course, anniversary weekend. We went up to Cloudcroft and stayed at the lodge for the weekend. And
How was the lodge accoutrement?
very nice.
Yeah?
I've never stayed the night there before. It was very nice. Obviously very quaint. It's
It's a cottage.
very, very old building and it's it's celebrities and everything. But if you heed the history and you go up to the tower and was it Clark Gable and all who's of Hollywoods have popped in and out of that thing from time to time, leaving their marks up on the tower there. And but it's nice. We stayed in what was called the honeymoon suite. That's what I booked. And if I don't know how well you're well versed in the lay of the hotel, but basically if you go through the lobby, the main thing where you check in at, and then you hang a left, go to those staircases at the end there. You go up those stairs, and then right at the head of the stairs, there's the honeymoon suite. You literally boop, and you walk in. It's really kind of a nice. It's actually got it's all old because it's
right,
but it had like a 2-level thing, so it wasn't.
The room is 2-level?
Well, it had to step up. So like you came into the room and you're like on a certain level, and then you actually kind of step up into the room a little bit.
Okay.
Like about a foot up into the room. And but it's a ramp, and it's a carpeted ramp, which is fine, except for 2 a.m. when you're not paying attention.
Yeah, no, that's understandable.
Yeah. Thank goodness they got big, thick, red padded carpet,
nice.
which hides some of the squeaks and creaks from being at old wooden floors and everything that is that building. But
I am curious. The one feature that I remember from staying there, this is years and years ago, actual keys.
Yeah, I had an actual
Is it
key.
actual key?
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's such a, I mean, it's a relic of a bygone era, but it's such a unique thing.
Yeah, and I had it, and I had the key and walked around with the key. Matter of fact, I put it on my Facebook. I was like, "Look, old school key." What's this thing? Good thing my car has one, or I wouldn't know what to do with it.
The closest, right? The closest I've come to that is staying at an Airbnb because if you open the lockbox, it's always a key because who's going to have a card entry to their house?
Well,
in
I
fair-
do, but I just like that.
Well, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
And Charles, you also have the pod bay doors, which I think is weird.
Actually, on my doors, I go shh, and then the other one goes shh, and then it opens. Shh, 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 and then it just opens.
Nice.
gets a little confusing.
So Cloudcroft, obviously, it's a tight knit community. There's not a lot of businesses up there. Not a lot to
actually, it's a pretty bustling little town. I mean, they got a lot of shops. They do like the there wasn't anything this weekend, but they do like the local community theater groups and stuff. They have like shows and like occasionally do concerts and things. So it's kind of we just picked a weekend where there wasn't much that particular weekend, but they usually have stuff kind of. Events during the weekend for locals and tourists to like to.
I would argue those are the best weekends to pick, though, because you get rid of all the extra stuff. You can just kind of enjoy the community.
And I imagine they do a whole great business in the winter. People don't want to go skiing and
for sure
ice skating and maybe not go all the way up to Ski Apache up there. They're kind of like, no, I want to be in the 7,000 feet area, nice. Where Cloudcroft is. So, but it's beautiful. I mean, and we got up there and it literally was 71 degrees. It was because I checked before we left. We went up there around lunchtime. I started heading that way. I watched some of the Commanders preseason game, and then we headed that way. But it was like 96, 97, and we took the way through like you're going to Artesia and then cut through the mountains and that way. So the scenic route, I guess you could say, more scenic views. And plus, I didn't know what Ruidoso was with the fires, and I was like, let's just avoid that altogether. The other way. And so we did, and you could just watch the thermostat as we're going. Then we're still going up the hill, and it's going the 90s start dipping, and then it's going to 80s. Ooh, 70, 78, 76, 71. We're 71 here, and then we get there. We're there about 10, 15 minutes. Starts pouring down, raining. So we're out sitting watching the rain. It drops into the 60s. I'm like, I wish I brought a long sleeve shirt. Right. I didn't kind of have one. I'm a little chilled. And it was nice. So we did that, and then we had an amazing dinner at Rebecca's, and
very nice.
And then next day we had the brunch, and then kind of bought a couple little knickknacks and things. I bought something that I need to ask about next hour.
Okay,
it's a product that it's a Texas thing.
He's saving it for when the kids go to school. I understand.
Well, it's not.
It's salacious.
It's called Chow Chow. You know what Chow Chow is?
I know it's a breed.
I think if you're a Texan thing, you probably know it.
You're talking about. Yeah, okay.
It comes in a jar.
Yeah.
And my wife says you put it on things like cornbread, beans, things like that.
The best thing in the world to put it on is hot dogs.
Okay.
It is my favorite hot dog topping.
I've never heard of said Chow Chow, but we bought Chow Chow.
Nice.
My wife said, here's Chow Chow.
Yes.
You need to try Chow Chow. And then she tried to spoon feed me. I said, no. Give it to me the way the good Lord intends it on whatever it's supposed to be served on.
We'll talk about it next hour. But Chow Chow is one of my favorite things in the world. Actually,
I've never heard of
it. My friend Misty went to, when she went up to Missouri recently, she ended up bringing me back a jar of Chow Chow.
Oh, okay.
It was a big thing in my family. For first, I was like, what are you... But yeah, no, Chow, it's absolutely a huge thing on in the South.
All right.
I don't think I've ever had it on cornbred, but
That's what my wife said. They used to have it with beans and cornbread all the time. They put on their beans and cornbread.
Think like thicker relish.
Yeah, that's what she says. Kind of like a relish. And then she tried to spoon feed. I was like, no. I may not like it like this. I want to eat it mixed in with whatever you're supposed to put it.
Not gonna lie, I'll get it straight out of the jar for a quick pick me up. That's a good bite right there.
That's right. I just don't want to taint the experience.
Fair enough.
Because there's things I hate by themselves, but I love them mixed into stuff. So this might be one of those things. Let me give you the rundown for this show. We do it, and we'll talk a little bit more about our weekends because Sean gallivanted cruises. He did. He got to eat food and watch a movie at the same time.
That was a cool.
And it wasn't
really
like
cool
popcorn,
experience.
like sandwiches and stuff.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that. But actually, there's one other thing that happened over the course of the weekend that I've never experienced in my entire life, and I'm not thrilled about it. Like if I never have to experience again, I'm okay with that.
When you hit 40, these certain things happen, and then
it's not one of those things. This more involves. I'll put it this way. This more involves the military than it does my internal organs, okay?
All right.
Just leave it at that.
All right, let me give you the rundown of today's show. Matt Bristol from Bristol Office is patiently waiting here, and he'll join us for his monthly visit. Every time Matt joins us, we give out sage legal and really family and personal advice, too. It kind of crosses more than just the legal world here. So we'll have another one of those conversations with Matt here in just a bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, by 8:15, we're going to replay an interview. We had Diana Velasco join us with the Roswell Public Library on Friday talking. Of course, they're having air conditioning issues over there right now. Pick bad time, but is there ever a good time for air conditioning to go out? But so a lot of their like story times and stuff are on hold right now until they get that repaired. But we had a great conversation talking about what's going on over there at the library and and talking a little bit about the air stuff. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to replay our interview we had on Friday. Chavis County Sheriff Mike Harrington joined us, and about a half dozen of his deputies that are about to go off to the academy. So brand new to the sheriff's department. So we had a great conversation with those guys. As a matter of fact, I think as we speak, they're in the academy. They rolled out yesterday to go to the academy. So they're probably having a bit of a rough morning right now. Me thinks. Day one of police academy. I imagine they're working them pretty good right about now. So, plus all of the features include news and all that good stuff, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. But first, let's take a look at that weather. Hot, and they'll tease us with a little rain here and there for the first part of the week, but for the most part, just hot.
I'm meteorologist Jason Laird with your Pecos Valley weather. Clear skies, smooth sailing overnight tonight. Low 70s, light breeze out of the south at times. As we head back to work, you guessed it, high pressure dominates the forecast, allowing for temperatures once again low triple digits, light breeze out of the southeast at times. As the day plays out, though, a couple of clouds building throughout the area. Isolated showers and thunderstorms expected then Monday night. Overnight lows once again low 70s, sunny and hot into Tuesday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jason Laird.
Thank you, Jason. Currently 77 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity's at 52%. Winds are out of the south at 5 miles per hour. 104 for a high today. Sunny, hot. That's all I have to say about that. Sunny, hot, 104 today. Southeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Clear tonight. Overnight low of 73. Winds out of the southeast 10 to 15. Tuesday, sunny, 101 for a high tomorrow. South winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Do your rain dance, knock on wood, wash your cars, whatever it is you got to do, because they're calling for a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms Tuesday night, mainly before midnight, partly cloudy, overnight low 72, south winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, hot, 101 for a high, south winds at around 5 miles per hour. Wednesday night, we're also looking at a 20% chance of showers and thunderstorms before midnight, so wash your cars again, whatever you got to do. Partly cloudy, 72 for an overnight low. And then for the rest of the week, 102 and sunny on Thursday, 102 on Friday, Saturday, 103 sunny and hot, and 102 sunny and hot on Sunday. So all week long, 100s. It is 7:17. We're going to get you into your Roswell Livestock report with Smiley Wooten. Quick break. That'll be about 2.5 minutes. And then on the other side, we'll talk with Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office. Don't go away.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A good August run this week with a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native calves, light yearlings with condition. We expect to sell 1,100 head, breaking down like this: 125, 150 weight cows and bulls, 75, 100 pairs of bred cows, 800 to 150 calves and yearlings. Today's sale will include 30 to 35 cow-calf pairs, mostly excellent quality, black-white face Angus and Brangus crosses, with Angus and Charolais calves inside. Pairs 5 to 10 years old. 134 calves and light yearlings. Hendricks beef, Flying H, New Mexico. Good quality black-white face Angus and Brangus crossbreds. Cattle weaned 30-60 days. 1 round of shots, thin condition. 400 to 700 pounds. 41 calves, LS Cattle Company, Corona, New Mexico. Good quality black-white face Charolais crossbred calves. Boveshield Gold 7-weight, 250 350 pounds. 35 calves, light yearlings, H-Bar Y Ranch, Carlsbad, New Mexico. Excellent quality black Brangus crossbreds. Cattle weaned 60-90 days. 2 rounds of shots, 400 700 pounds. 29 calves, light yearlings, Mr. Hugh Kincaid Ranch, Carlsbad. Excellent quality black Brangus crossbreds. Cattle weaned 60-90 days. 2 rounds of shots, warmer, 400 700 pounds. 61 calves, Mr. Brent Brown, Eunice, New Mexico. X-quality black and Charolais crossbred calves, shots at Brandon, 400 650 pounds. 33 calves, Joan and Collins Keys, Fort Sumner, New Mexico. X-quality black Angus cross calves, shots at Brandon, 450 600 pounds. 77 calves, Guadalupe Mountain Farm, Sierra Blanca, Texas. Excellent quality black-white face Angus cross calves, medium condition, 350 550 pounds. And 26 calves and light yearlings, Mr. Jim Espy, Fort Davis, Texas. Excellent quality black-white face Angus crossbred calves, 1 round of shots, thin to medium condition, 350 500 pounds. Sale time this morning 9 o'clock. Sell pairs of bred cows 9:45. Be selling calves and yearlings at 10:30. Fairly short on cows today, so don't be late. We expect to sell 1,100 head today. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Artesia General Hospital has welcomed cardiologist Luther Weathers to the team. Dr. Weathers is board certified with a subspecialty in cardiovascular diseases. He treats patients with genetic heart defects, heart rhythm disorders, heart failure, coronary artery disease, chronic high blood pressure, and other cardiovascular diseases. Call 575-736-8270 to schedule your visit with Dr. Weathers in Artesia, or visit artesiageneral.com/cardio appointment. Se habla español.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The ball on top of a flagpole is called a truck. Mess with your friends today by pointing at a flagpole and say, "Hey, check out the truck on top of that flagpole." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Bristol Law Office, Matt Bristol back with us this morning. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Mike. How are you doing?
Doing well. How was your weekend?
It was good. Nice and quiet. Played a little golf tournament with the First Tee folks on Saturday.
Great program.
Great program.
If you're not familiar, they work with youth, basically bringing golf to the youth. And they use it as to get more people interested in the sport of golf. But at the same time, they teach these kids life lessons and skills. And they got kids. I mean, they basically have to build custom clubs because these kids are so little starting golf. They're literally some of them are just walking. Now they're hitting them with a golf ball.
Well, not quite that small. I did ask what was the minimum age.
Yeah.
And it's basically kindergarten or first grade.
Sure, but it's pretty young.
It's pretty young, yeah. And scarily enough, they don't have plastic clubs at that age.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so.
But they are a great organization.
Great organization. Adrian's been doing it for 19 years.
Yeah, and so yes, if you're golfers out there and looking to find ways to give back to the community, I highly recommend First Tee of Southeast New Mexico.
And they teach character and a lot of good stuff for the kids.
They help create foundations for kids. That's what they do through golf.
And you were teasing Sean, but didn't he have a birthday last week?
He did. He turned the big 4-0.
The big 4-0
last week.
Oh my gosh! Happy birthday, Sean! Wherever you are,
yeah. So yeah, he's getting older. That's why I made the joke about things change when you get older.
yeah. I wanted to explain that to the audience.
It's all downhill.
He did have the birthday, and then you had your anniversary weekend.
Yeah,
that's
so
cool.
Kind of busy. So good thing no one booked anything in real important this weekend. Or we didn't. Everyone's.
And you drove through Artesia.
Well, I didn't go through Artesia, but I went that route. I went down 285 and then turned.
Did you go on Highway 13?
Yeah, whatever that road is. That takes you.
Well, there's a cutoff behind the airport, Highway 13.
Okay.
Instead of going down 285.
Okay.
Takes off.
Okay. I didn't think of that one.
Saves a lot of time.
I just went the way I knew and just went and.
Yeah, I like that drive. That's a pretty drive.
It is pretty. It's a very pretty drive, and it's just nice. And then that one, I feel like you see the most change of as it's like dirt. All right, starting to get a little green. Oh, Green Valley. Valley. That's what you get reminded. There's parts of Chavez County that are mountainous and green, and you forget that.
Yeah.
Take the trip to Cloudcroft. You get reminded. There's parts of Chavez County that aren't brown and dirt.
Yeah, Penasco Valley is a pretty valley.
Absolutely, yeah. You go up there by Mayhill and all that beautiful area.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. For folks not familiar, Matt joins us each month, and he is an attorney, hence Bristol office. That's why his name's on the thing, and he's a lawyer, and that's that part there. But Matt gives us, really sage legal advice when it comes to family law, when it comes to financial planning, even business law. If you're wanting to set up a small business, we'll devote times on legally. You may know how to sell your widget, but do you know how to run the business and how to protect it legally and from financial lawsuits to just make sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's to keep you from getting sued and everything else. So.
Yeah, we try to do. We provide a little bit of everything, and so which is helpful because then we learn a little bit of everything.
Absolutely, and you don't want to learn the hard way, which is usually you make the mistake and then have to reap the repercussions of said mistake.
Oh yeah,
that's how a lot of us learn. We're trying to avoid that step.
Yeah. So a lot cheaper to ask me ahead of time than try to fix things after they've gone sideways.
That is very true. That's just everything in life, not just in the legal world.
It's especially true with like second marriages because I see a lot of times where people they don't want to make a will because if you talk about dying, then you die, so they never get around to estate planning or doing anything to prepare for when they're not here anymore.
Sure. It's the ostrich syndrome.
It is.
Yeah.
And then it's especially tough when there's a second marriage.
Yeah, and especially if there's kids from the first marriage, and that's when things get that web gets pretty tangled if you don't stay on top of it here.
Well, yeah, and then even if a spouse is fine with the stepchildren, do the other stepchildren get along with the other stepchildren?
Sure.
So the next generation can get pretty messy sometimes.
Well, and I just like for instance, and I'm not saying how the relations or anything to this, but I'm aware of a story where a woman, her husband died, met another man, remarried. This man was second marriage as well, with a divorcee, and kids and things. He was pretty well established, had his own property, had retired from his job, and had a nice little patch of land on a lake, and that kind of thing, living well. Well, he died, and basically the wife had to leave because the property was left to the kids, and so there was no caveat about she can live there as long as she's alive or none of that. And kids came in or like, nope, you got to get out. Go, this is ours. We want it. And she was left high and dry pretty much.
Yeah. That is not uncommon. The wife, if she had a home, she sells it and moves in with second husband. They live happily for 15, 20 years or whatever.
Yeah.
But he probably often doesn't tell the wife, oh, by the way, I'm leaving the house to the kids.
Yeah.
And that's
which is not a bad thing, but if you like love your first wife, maybe you set some up. It's like, they can't have it till you're done living in it or something like that, or whatever arrangement. But you need to make those arrangements, otherwise you might end up out in the cold because no planning was done or no conversation, at least with your people about it. So.
Yeah, there's no conversation. A lot of times the spouse the surviving spouse is kind of blindsided.
Yeah.
And leaves, maybe the husband should have made some kind of monetary compensation for her to get a new house.
And I get it. It's a difficult conversation to have, especially if you come from the perspective of the spouse, because you don't want to look like you're gold digging or whatever. I mean, it's a slippery slope you want to bring, because no one wants to talk about death. But then it's like, hey, when you die, what do I get? What do your kids get? I know that's a very, I don't have the cojones to walk in a room and do that, I don't know, some people may, but that's a slippery slope you got to broach there.
It is. It is a difficult conversation. I had a lady come in one time, and the second marriage, and 25 years, and husband was getting ill. He's becoming ill, and she's taking a lot of time taking care of him. And so she was having the conversation of, what is your estate plan and what's going on here? And naturally he says, well, I want to take care of my children and blah, blah, blah. And, well, okay, to what extent are you taking care of your children? And husband says, well, they get everything. And the wife is like, okay, so I'm changing your diapers and you're leaving me zip?
Right? It's like, what, why?
I chopped liver or, what's the deal here?
Yeah.
And so she was real tempted just to bug out.
Sure.
And I couldn't blame her. I didn't give her that advice.
Right.
It's up to her. But
that's where, love's a powerful thing, because I think if the love's not there, you're out ski. At that point, it's like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Going this emotional roller coaster. At the end of the day, I'm going to be bags packing high and dry. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, so many times, a husband comes in and says, well, my wife passed. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that. And, well, we lived in her house that she had pre-marriage. I said, okay. And was it paid off before you got married? Because that's a big question right there. And it was paid off before we got married. It's okay.
Yeah, because in theory, if y'all paid it off while you were married, then you have a stake in that house.
That's right.
Because you paid into it.
The community money paid it off. The community has an interest in that house.
Then it's another ball game here.
Yeah. So he says, well, it's paid off pre-marriage, and she never put me on the deed. And now the kids are trying to kick me out.
Well, guess what?
Well, yeah. So
your kids are going to win.
Essentially, so if my wife passes without a will, 3/4 of her sole and separate property go to her children, 1/4 to the surviving spouse. So now the kids have a 3/4 interest in the house. And so, they're either going to force a sale or a buyout. But now
and that probably varies from state to state. Like that may work here in New Mexico, but you go say to Texas, they may not apply that way.
Don't know how they do it over there.
And so that's where you got to pay attention on some of that, because each state, the rules are different on that. Community property states versus non, and the rules that do apply with none of that. And New Mexico is kind of a more unique state in some of those legal proceedings than other states.
Yeah, there are only 8 community property states in the country. So if you move to a different state, and even those community property laws vary a little bit, so some subtleties. So you always, if you're going to move somewhere, contact a legal professional and see what the laws are.
Sure.
But that surviving spouse now is in the home for the last 20 years. And the kids from the previous marriage are saying, well, we're 3/4 owners, and since we're owners, we get to live there too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah. So now the surviving husband's living on Social Security, and his wife passed, so her Social Security check just went away, and now he's going to buy out 3/4 of the house.
Yeah. And the sad part is, all these situations, like you said, could be easily avoided. But 9 times out of 10, people just thought, "Oh, it's my son, it's my daughter, it's this.
It'll be okay.
It'll be okay."
Yeah.
And we all think that until you actually get there. And when the people die, and then the money actually starts being talked about here, people change. People get weird. People get different.
Big time.
And I wish all of us were evolved or enlightened enough to be on the high road, but temptation tempts. And then there's a lot of temptation there.
So interesting thing was husband and wife divorced, and wife had a 401k. And of course, during the marriage, she named husband as beneficiary. Mm-hmm. And post-divorce just never gets around to changing it. So that was a problem, especially if she remarried, had a second spouse. And so the legislature came up with this. Well, if there's a divorce, then nix on the beneficiary status. If there's a divorce, all that stuff goes away. It's no longer valid because they got divorced. Mm-hmm. So that kind of makes a little sense. So present day, wife never changes the 401k. She gets remarries, second husband, wife passes. So now second husband says, wait a minute. First husband's the beneficiary on the 401, except there's a state law that says that goes away upon divorce. So the problem is there's a federal act from 1972, I think.
Okay.
So when
kind of getting into like cannabis laws, like, well, your state says one thing, but the Fed's got a different idea.
And then once the Feds speak on a subject, the what's called federal preemption.
Yeah.
And once the Feds say we're going to take jurisdiction of the subject matter, they have exclusive jurisdiction.
Gotcha.
And that federal law says whatever the beneficiary is on the 401 stays.
So the moral of the story is update and change your stuff to the way you want it, because it may not end up that way. And it most certainly probably won't if you don't do it yourself.
Promptly upon divorce, change those beneficiaries, because in that case, husband one's getting it all.
And the longer you wait, the more unlikely you're going to not do it. And that's, you know what I mean? That's
inertia is a powerful force.
Yeah, while it's fresh, while you're thinking of those things, and while the fire's hot, so to speak, you get it done. And because once time cools off, you forget. And then, unfortunately, the unforeseen tragedy happens, and now you're left holding the bag on this one. So
so we need to update all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a big talk to have about the husband and wife, second marriage, what's going to get left to the kids, what's going to get left to the surviving spouse, how much does the surviving spouse need? That's a huge talk. You need to have it. You need to put it in writing, because I promise stuff just doesn't
Absolutely,
work.
But have the conversation with the family members before. I mean, obviously, before you go in and start adjusting wills and everything. I mean, obviously, the healthy, mature, and most beneficial thing is, you talk with the spouse, talk about what you want to do, and then you talk with the kids and say, look, if I were to drop dead tomorrow, this is what I want to happen. And, you guys will get the house, but I want this. I want my wife to live there, and as long as she wants to. and
Right.
she can stay there. And if she decides to leave tomorrow, then bequeath, boom, it's yours. If she's there for another 20 years, whatever, you got to have that conversation. That's and trust me, if you do that, have the arguments then, it'll save life so much better when after you pass, and just might keep your family being a family.
Yeah.
Just saying, you might be doing the Lord's work in keeping your family together after you're gone.
And I advise my folks, even if it's their first marriage, they're still married, they have adult children. And so I always suggest is that you tell all the kids what's going on with your estate plan, and you tell them all at the same time, if it's Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever, but everybody's in the same room, so everybody hears the same thing all at once, and they avoids this, well, that's not what Dad told me, and, well, Dad said I was going to have that, Chevy truck, and...
And then, for the love of God, don't play your kids like that either. You know what I mean? Like, if you do that, like, pull them aside. No, you can have the gun, and then later promise it to someone else. Then you're stirring that pot. You need to have a backbone and pick one, and to quit wishy-washing on these people. But you're right. But because I believe sometimes that actually happens. I think there was promised to 3 people because the person who didn't make a will in the first place didn't have the backbone to tell anybody no.
Well. That's part. I've seen a lot of mommies do that with their children. They just can't say no, so that creates a problem. I often suggest that, okay, well, while you're alive, why don't you give that Chevy truck to whoever you want to have it, or that firearm to whoever you want to have it, because now it's going to end up where you want it to end up.
And the way I look at it is you look at it as like the passing of the baton, so to speak. It's like, I leave you my pickup. You baby it like to change the oil every time on this here. This is how you change. You know what I mean? That's what you do. I'm leaving you my gun. You clean it everything here. It's this. I'm leaving you the house. I do that. That's you almost present it and change it to. And that's really, do it. That's not a bad idea. Do it while they're still alive if you can. I mean, if you still need it.
Yeah, make it a birthday present or a Christmas present, and you get to see the smile on their face. You get to see them enjoy it.
And hopefully don't wrap it around a tree before you die.
Yeah. Or give it to the grandkid who wraps it around the tree.
Then you get angry. You have a right to get angry if they do that. But yes, but it is. It's a great idea. Leave it to them, the heirloom thing, whatever it is, to them while they're alive. That way, you know where it's going.
Right.
And you don't create animosity, jealousy, or whatever,
especially
after you leave.
In a second marriage. If you want your kids to have certain family items, be sure and give it away while they're alive, because otherwise it gets messy.
Yeah.
Because I've had instances where, husband passes away, adult children from first marriage say, well, we want Dad's firearms. And the wife says, well, we've been married 28 years.
Yeah.
He bought them all after we got married.
Well, I think a lot of people, I think this is where TV and movies have kind of messed us up a little bit. Whereas, it's not as bad in this day and age because you don't see it as often in TV and movies, but it seems to me, I remember growing up, anytime somebody died, there was a reading of the will, you know what I mean? And I bequeath this to you, and I bequeath that to you. And I think it got many people thinking, like, that's how they need to create wills. Like, every earthly possession I own, I need to find out who to give it to. And it doesn't work that way. To be honest, it should be kind of generic in terms of, the property, the big things, the house, the car, the finances, the liabilities, who goes what to where on that. When in terms of getting the pearl necklace that Grandma Jones had to this, to that, to there, and all, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Don't put that in a will. Give it to whoever you intend to
while you're alive.
While you're alive.
Yeah.
That don't. I know it's fun for a TV show to put everyone in a room and I leave my stamp collection to little Louie. But that's not how life is. It really isn't like that.
Well, the problem we run into is so in the will, you can designate personal property goes to whoever.
Sure.
And so if the pearl necklace goes to the granddaughter, and so the next question is, well, where's the pearl necklace?
Right.
And then the surviving spouse says, I don't know what he's talking about. And
then the wife or someone else said, I don't know, he lost it years ago.
Yeah. Where is it?
Yeah. And now it's sitting in someone's jewelry closet somewhere, hiding it. Yeah.
Yeah. So you never know.
Yeah.
If you give it away while you're alive,
it just turns up all of a sudden. Yeah. Yeah. So avoid all that nonsense.
Oh yes. Yeah. So I had a case where a gentleman passes away, And so his ex-wife says, well, where's all his jewelry? He had these gold Rolex watches, and they disappeared, and it's all this lady's fault. It's the personal representative's fault. She must have stolen it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, so lady, ex-wife, this gentleman was, ill. Everybody knew he was passing away, and it took some time. And did you ever have like a family gathering to say, gee, we're all going to miss you? And did you take pictures?
Mm-hmm.
And are there watches in the pictures? You mean you didn't have a goodbye party? There was no gathering. There's no pictures of, we're going to miss you. No pictures. But that personal representative lady, she must have stolen the watches. So, okay, ex-wife. So didn't you also help him on a regular basis? Oh, yeah. You helped clean the house? Oh, yeah. How often? Oh, 3-4 times a week. Oh, you had your own key? Yep. Oh, you had access to the house.
Columbo solves the case.
Hello. So you never know who's going to be taking things from the house.
You never know. Absolutely. Yeah.
Give it away while you're alive.
Absolutely. You're right. And I hear stories in the past, into times where like people living in living assisted facilities, and they've had some of their jewelry and stuff in there, and they want to go saving it for their granddaughter, great granddaughter, whatever. And yeah, that kind of stuff, staff things. I mean, it's a common world. Yep. It did spawn a question that this is one of those weird what if ones that I just gee whiz. What do you do in this situation? Say for instance, you do that situation where you leave, your prized watch or piece of jewelry to whatever relative. Say you put that in the will and you tell them, in your will, when I die, this watch is going to you. And say, for whatever reason, the watch breaks before you die, and the watch is no longer good. But you never pull it out the will, and then you drop dead. And then the person comes looking for their watch, and they said it's broke, but they were promised it. Is there a lawsuit there? Could that person, in theory, because say they broke the watch and it's no good no more, so nothing to bequeath, but they died before they could pull it out of the will, saying that you get the watch. So now that now this person's died, it's a raw and rude thing to do, but in theory, could the person that was supposed to get the watch have a case against the estate saying, well, you promised me a watch, the watch is broke, I should get some monetary value for that? Is that a case?
In a larger sense, yeah. So, for example, if it's a broken watch, you go, here's your broken watch,
sure.
Mike, good luck. But let's say what often instead happens is I give Mike my Chevy Malibu 67 mint condition worth $60,000. And then, so that's in the will.
Mm-hmm.
And then, while I'm alive, I sell it or I give it to somebody else. And 10 years later, I pass away and my will says Mike gets the Chevy Malibu.
Mm-hmm.
And where is it? And so at that point, Mike could come in and say, well, if the will says I get, and if it's not there, I want the monetary equivalent. So you could push the issue, yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't know if that was, could you actually win that case in court if you tried to pursue that?
Yeah, most likely. So when I make a will, if the vehicles are mentioned,
sure,
then I always put, and the Chevy Malibu to Mike if I own it at the time of my death.
I just didn't know if it was, maybe you could make an argument that it's considered a gift and there's no law saying you have to give a gift to anybody. You can give it or not give it. It's your prerogative. So I didn't know if maybe you could fight it that way or something.
Well, once you die, then the will kicks in, and it says Mike gets the Malibu.
Gotcha.
So if there's no Malibu, Mike's going to want the monetary equivalent.
Gotcha.
So I always put, if I own it at the time I die.
Now, I would imagine if you're a close family and everything, you're like, no, that thing went over a cliff years ago. I'm not going to get the thing for it, and I'm not going to fight or pursue it.
Well, if people are, cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah, and that's really, if your family's in good communication, then that's what's going to happen. But I imagine there's instances where I haven't talked to Grandpa in years, but he promised me that watch, or whatever it was. And something like that goes on.
Oh, yeah, we get that all the time. They had second marriage. except the adult children don't like the second wife.
Mm-hmm.
So they hadn't seen Dad actually in 15 years. No Thanksgiving, no Christmas, no birthday, 15 years.
Drops dead, and they
Dad
turn
dies,
up all of a sudden.
and they turn up. And they go, well, I want Dad's this, and I want Dad's that, and Dad was Dad's favorite, and it's like, well,
He may have been 30 years ago, but where have you been lately?
yeah,
And
it happens. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's something we forget about. And this is me in my own personal life, as I'm kind of going through different phases of life, going from young days to now starting to settle into older days and things like that. But it starts to make me realize that your life is a series of little lives. What you did in your 20s versus what you do in your 40s are completely different lives, and the people you surround yourself with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just it's a different world you live in, and it's hard to quantify that sometimes when you have to put it pen to paper and say what is the value of that.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do. So this is why these wills have to. That's why advice: what should go in a will, what shouldn't. This is why you need to talk to someone like Matt. And sure, you can go online and fill in the blank wills and all that, but that doesn't tell you. It won't help you to try to explain what the intent of what you're trying to do with your possession.
Right.
Whereas the fill in the blank thing, it's plug and paste, and then it goes. There's no flexible leeway. It's all cookie cutter. It's all I guess if your life is that way, then it works pretty well. But most of us aren't like that. And so, but if you're wanting to know, like, hey, if I want to leave this to my son, what's the best way to do that? And that's when you talk to Matt. Matt will tell you, well, give it to him where you die, or well, they're only 6. Okay, hold on to it. Into an age that they're responsible enough, you think they'll give it to it, then give it to them. But that's the kind of stuff you talk to an attorney about. Is like, here's the actual life advice that goes with the legal advice.
Oh yeah, and you were asking the Malibu thing.
Yeah.
So my grandfather's will, he left certain cash bequests to certain people, and then me and my siblings got the real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that was the order in which the will was written: cash distributions to 5 people. And then we get real estate. Well, fortunately, there was enough cash in the bank to pay those people.
Okay.
But if there had not been enough cash, well, in the distribution order, they came before the real estate. So if there was no cash, they would say, sell the real estate and give us our cash.
Sure. So you got it pending the bills got paid, basically.
Yeah, so it should have been written in reverse.
Yeah.
These kids get the real estate, and then if there's money left over, the following
pay your
cash,
creditors and all that.
following cash bequests.
Sure. And again, something to talk to the attorney about. It's
Hello.
Like whose future do you want to protect? Your creditors or your families?
Yeah. So words are important, and how you use them are important.
And I will tell you this: if you leave it to other people's choices, they're going to ensure your creditor's future, not your family's. So that's why you need to have a will. You need to actually talk to an attorney, sit down and do it. And you need to constantly update it and change it and modify it as moments in life change and happen in life. You have a child, you need to change the will. You get divorced, you need to change the will.
Oh, absolutely.
You get married, you need to change the will.
Yep.
If you know what? If you have a windfall in your life, you hit the lottery, someone dies and bequeaths you money, you need to change your will.
need to look that stuff up.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fix it before it goes wrong.
Yes, this is the stuff you need to talk about.
Yeah.
And this is, and the time to do it is when it's fresh in your mind and thinking about it, and like in past conversations, Matt and I have talked about, like, right around the holidays when family gets together, it's always that's a good time of year to maybe have the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
If I die, go to this cabinet and everything's here, or if I die, call this person and talk to them. They've got all my, whatever that plan is, it's time. But this is kind of the same way when it comes to will planning. As those moments in life happen, maybe it's to plan that thing, at least with your spouse or who your real immediate circle there.
Yeah.
To have that planned that way.
Especially if your inheritance is, or your giving is not being equally divided among the children.
Sure, absolutely.
So maybe you've helped one child out their whole life, so you don't leave them as much. Or maybe one child's exceptionally wealthy, and so you're going to give the money to the other children because you think they need it. So if it's not going to be divided evenly, that conversation needs to be made ahead of time.
Sure. And generally when those reasons is because of family reasons. Like, well, Sue's good at this, but Johnny's not so good. So we're going to help Johnny this way and help Sue this way.
Yeah.
And so So that's why those conversations are important, because I'm sure your parents love you all equally. They just want to give you the best, advantage to what they think you need at that time. And so that's what those conversations are about. And granted, it's hard after the will when your parents thought you needed something different than what you thought you needed.
Yeah. I needed a lot more money than that.
And then it creates that animosity with the next day you're ticked off at your sibling for the rest of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've created that. So please, yes, put everybody in loop, put everybody on the table, have those conversations, avoid the fight for after when you're gone, and trust me.
Mm-hmm.
This is no different than when when your kids are in school. It's like, oh, my kid's the angel. No, your kid's not the angel. Your kid's just like the rest.
Yeah.
Same thing here. My family would never do that until they do.
Until they do. That's right.
You got to protect yourself and your family. And your family from this. You're protecting your family as much as you're protecting yourself from these headaches.
Yeah, even if the first generation gets along, usually the second generation won't. So
yes, and let's face it. I would imagine when you deal with generational wealth, your Trumpses and your Vanderbiltses and all these folks, as the generations change and the people that maybe necessarily blood, sweat, and tears weren't making that money, there's a lesser appreciation for the value of it, and so you tend to have to.
Even a second marriage situation, even if the wife is getting along with the stepchildren, the husband and wife both pass away, the stepchildren aren't going to get along with each other.
Sure.
And so that's why stuff needs to be either given away while you're alive or clearly written instructions. Handle it in writing. Don't just roll the dice and let if you don't have an estate plan, the state has one for you. And let's not go there because no one's going to be happy about that.
Sure. And then please don't forget too, anytime you're making changes or additions or subtractions to your will and stuff, go talk to the attorney. You can't just whip up your phone and do videos and do things, little caveat things and say, I bequeath this, because none of that will hold up in court. None of that is considered legal documentation of your wishes.
Handwritten changes don't count, folks.
Yeah, you gotta. If you have the will and you need to change it, you need to go back to the lawyer and
get a new one.
Get it redone and re-notarized and re-bequeathed and all that good stuff. So, anytime, and then probably burn that old one when the new one's done.
Yeah, the old one should always be destroyed. Now your list of who gets what personal property, that you can change as long as you sign it and date it. That doesn't have to be notarized. That is something you can change at home.
Something a little simpler like that, where you don't have to throw the baby without the bathwater, so to speak, and you just make a simple change.
Yeah, you just make simple changes anytime you want, and just sign it and date it. But as far as the will itself, handwritten notations, changes, that just doesn't cut it. It won't work. Nope. As far as we know, somebody else may have done that.
At-home matlocking don't count a lot of times on that. You may be able to pull that off in the DIY. You may be able to fix your own kitchen cabinets, but when it comes to the legal stuff, DIY legal is not the best.
Yeah, get some competent legal advice, and just so you know, it's peace of mind that you did it right.
Absolutely. And I know a guy you might want to call here. Matt Bristol could definitely take care of it here. Of course, if you go to his website, bristolllawoffice.com, you can .net. I'm sorry, he changed it. I keep forgetting. You can go there, set up for a free consultation. We'll sit down and chit-chat with you and say, you know what? This is a case. We need something. Or you know what? Go to the DMV and go fill out this form and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, we could set that conversation up and then and go from there. Matt, when it comes to family law, business law, you don't really do criminal law so much, but the
no criminal
financial side of law, pretty much all those worlds, Matt's got a foot in it.
Yes, so. Call us at 625-5284.
Yeah.
And we can set up an appointment. And if it's something we don't handle, I will tell you we don't do that because, I don't want to screw stuff up.
Sure. Well, and it's, law's a big thing. In case you haven't know, that's why people spend a lot of time going to school and a lot of money to learn it. But there's so many different caveats of law, and you could really spend your whole world in one area of law and be completely oblivious to the other area of law, because it just doesn't work the same. You know?
I was talking to one of the judges the other day, and he said he was getting to have a lot of respect for family law attorneys. And I'm like, okay, well, why is that? And he says, because you have to know so many other things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to kind of foot in everybody's world because it's family. And And where there's family, it's messy. It's just
Well, you got to
everywhere.
split up assets. You have to know how the 401k trick thing works and pensions.
Oh, by the way, if there's restraining orders and those things, you got to be. So there's a little criminal. There's a little bit of everything.
Separate property, community property, and die intestate. Or there's just so many more things you have to know. I had a case where there was a business. Husband had a business and pre-marriage, but he spent 40 years of the marriage in the business. So divorce, and wife wants half the business. It's like, oh yeah, it's community property. So we had the accountant run out the balance sheet.
Okay.
And so here's the balance sheet of the assets. And so this is it. And we'll give her half. How do you want to pay? Can we pay it out over time, kind of thing? So the wife's attorney says, yeah, we'll take a payout over time. Well, the thing is on the balance sheet, what the other attorney didn't realize is that those are depreciated values. So, but I knew it because of my experience.
Sure.
So we kind of got away with a little bit there, but that's what the judge meant is you got to know a little bit of a whole lot.
Sure, you're right. And again, it's where experience and and that's not toot Matt's horn here. This is where sometimes when you have a lawyer that's been in the room, and knows these things, will help you out when those types of, because it always happens. It's just every time there's a court case and there's a little thing, there's always one caveat or one something here or there. And when you have a lawyer that's very well versed in that stuff, it sure makes it a lot easier.
We do our
when
best.
Those surprises do pop up from time to time.
We do our best.
But bristoloffice.net, definitely check it out or give them a call.
Please
come by here. We have about a minute or two if you got time for a little fact or fiction here.
Oh yeah, so this. Root words, I like, root words. Where do words come from? So Mike gets up in the morning and Sunday, so he's going to go out and get the paper, and there's this thing in the front yard.
Okay.
Like, oh my God, what is this thing? It just suddenly appeared. And so you're wondering, what is this thing? So what we all do is we kind of walk around it trying to figure out, what's this thing, Walk over here, look at it, and walk over here and look at it. So when a person who walks is a pedestrian.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you walk around it, you encircle it.
Okay.
Or another word for circle is cycle, the cycle of life.
Okay.
So you encircle this thing as a pedestrian. You are an encyclopedia.
Oh, looking for knowledge here. So that's where the root words of encyclopedia come
That's
from.
where the word encyclopedia means is walking around on your feet trying to figure out what the heck this thing is in my front yard. You just walk around on your feet. And so,
that is neat.
That's just wild to me.
That is neat.
Where do they come up with that stuff? Yeah.
It's almost like, to me, that's one of those moments where people look at a globe for the first time and finally realize, wait a minute. You look at the Atlantic Ocean and Africa and in North America and Europe, and they kind of, and you're like, oh my gosh, it's like a puzzle. They fit together. Yeah. That's almost like one of those moments when people are putting it together, like, oh, okay, there's a reason why things are this and why it's put here in this place. And so yes, definitely.
I just think that's an interesting how they came up with that stuff.
Yeah,
anyway.
I do too. It's evolution,
Yeah.
It always makes me think. I was thinking about that the other day, and I really don't have time to go into this, but it was just like, I wonder, like, words that we look as slang and seem like, I wonder if there's words that we take now as like the official word for it, but its root words were some slangy word that, like, if you talked to people of the origin of which this word came from, they would not think of it the same way we talk about it today.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know what I mean?
When you look at,
like, we think we're talking very, like, educated, and if you would have been, they'd be like, what a gutter mouth on that guy. You know what I mean?
I'm sure that's the case. Oh,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we write and we abbreviate pound, it's LB.
Yes.
Where'd that come from?
I never thought about it. I feel it's an English thing, but I don't know.
It's a little Latin for book is libro, and so they were heavy.
Oh, there you go.
And so LB.
So it was a good measuring source.
Yeah.
How many books you weigh?
Yeah.
How many libras you weigh?
Who decided that?
Which kind of makes sense when they do, in weight and stone in Europe,
English,
it's stone.
Yeah.
Because literally some guy was putting stones on there. How many stones it take you equal 7 stone there?
Yeah.
Whatever that number is. So
yeah.
pretty interesting.
Goofy stuff.
Well, thank you, Matt, as always.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Happy anniversary.
Well, thank you, and we'll see you next time here.
Awesome. Thank you so much. You too.
All right, it's 8 o'clock. Look at that. I like when it ends right perfectly. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. News is next. We'll be back on the other side.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. At the direction of the Pentagon chief, the U.S. will be sending more military assets to the volatile Middle East.
Lloyd Austin talked by phone with Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant on Sunday. According to a Pentagon spokesman, the U.S. Defense Secretary reiterated Washington's commitment to do everything to defend Israel. He said the USS Georgia submarine and an aircraft carrier strike group led by the USS Abraham Lincoln should accelerate towards the region. Iran has said it plans revenge following Israel's assassination in Lebanon last month of Fuad Shukr, a senior commander of the Iran-backed group Hezbollah, and the killing of the Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, which Hamas and Iran have blamed on Israel.
That's the BBC's Warren Bull. Israel says a school it attacked in Gaza was being used as a Hamas command center and that more than a dozen terrorists were killed. The Palestinians claim at least 80 people were killed. London's Metropolitan Police say a man's been arrested after an 11-year-old girl and a 34-year-old woman were stabbed in central London. The victims have been taken to a trauma center. Echoing a pledge first made by former President Trump a couple of months ago, Kamala Harris endorsing elimination of federal taxes on tips for service workers at businesses like bars, restaurants, and hotels. Mr. Trump accuses Harris of stealing his idea while adding that the difference is she won't do it. She just wants it for political purposes. Deadly home explosion northeast of Baltimore, shattering the peace and quiet of an early Sunday morning, rocking the entire neighborhood.
We were woken with a huge, ginormous shake on our building. We're in a top floor of a condo building with no elevator, so the whole building was shaking.
Speculation it was triggered by a natural gas leak. A blast killed 2 people in Bel Air, Maryland. The Dow down 215. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Spare it. Hong Kong's top court upholding the convictions of 7 of Hong Kong's most prominent pro-democracy activists over their roles in one of the biggest anti-government protests of 2019.
It's the final appeal. The upside probably is there's no lines in the judgment saying the sentencing should have been reconsidered or anything like that. So for those 2 people, including Jimmy Lai himself, who has been sentenced to quite some jail term in this case, he would simply have to serve out those terms. But for those who received suspended sentences, including Martin Lee and Margaret Ng, they would just be able to walk away from it.
The BBC's Martin Yip. One man has died after an unauthorized helicopter flight in Queensland, Australia, ended in a crash on a hotel roof, prompting the evacuation of hundreds of people from the building as flames engulfed the aircraft. 2 hotel guests were hospitalized, suffering smoke inhalation. They have since been released from the hospital. News and analysis at townhall.com. Authorities learning more about the recent deadly crash of a Marine Corps aircraft.
Investigators say the Osprey crash in Australia that killed 3 U.S. Marines 1 year ago was caused by several pilot errors during a near mid-air collision. Pilots Major Tobin Lewis and Captain Eleanor LeBeau were both killed. A 3rd Marine, Crew Chief Corporal Spencer Collard, survived the crash and was thrown clear, but he then re-entered the burning cockpit in an attempt to rescue the trapped pilots. He died in his effort to save them. Jason Walker reporting.
They have passed the torch to Los Angeles, a star-studded show in France's National Stadium, closing out the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. Los Angeles, next city in line to host the games in 2028. In Paris, Team USA led the way in the medals race. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
Deuce, man.
Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday.
Yes.
Welcome to the beginning of the week.
Indeed.
Hopefully your weekend was well.
Yeah, the only problem with doing stuff on the weekend is you get into one of those, well, now the weekend's over.
Yeah.
Now I have no weekend.
And the weekend's over.
Yeah.
Like, hey, wasn't I just here? Good. Yeah, it happens.
How dare you enjoy yourself?
Yes. Absolutely. But you know, that's why we do it again in 5 days.
There you go. gotta charge them batteries at some point.
That's right. But happy Monday.
Yes, sir.
Happy hotness.
Happy hotness.
Yeah. Not a week. Not all week. With rain chances Tuesday night and Wednesday night, respectively, at this particular moment. So, do your rain dances, wash your cars, whatever you got to do to get that happening on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Honestly, just cloud cover where it needs to be. If it could just cover up the sun at specific points in the day, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need rain. I just need a little cloud cover.
Yeah. A little respite from the baking. I feel like my skin's not bursting into flames.
It's one of the things that's fun about when you're driving like across the plains, like I was, over the weekend. You'll see little pockets of shadow, and you're just like aiming for those pockets.
Right.
Once you get there, you're just like, okay, cool. I can just make this one last for a minute, and then of course it dissipates, and you're just back to baking.
Yeah,
it's not a fun experience.
It's like, hey, stay on the highway, Cloud. I'll follow you.
Yeah,
We'll go
I'll
the
go
way.
where you're going. I don't care where I'm going. I'll follow you.
Follow you, Cloud.
That's right.
Anywhere.
You and me, we're in this together. But yes.
Speaking of, over the weekend, like I said, we were at Cloudcroft and we kind of did the thing there. Well, the TV they had in there had a Roku deal in there, and so you really didn't have live TV. You couldn't watch. It was just a Roku thing. But then they had like the free stuff. But someone forgot to check out their Peacock account. So I showed Kim the first couple episodes of Ted.
Nice.
It was just funny. I was like, someone forgot to log out their Peacock account.
Forgot to wash. They peacock laundry.
So I ended up going and watched. So if somebody goes to their Peacock account, why is all these Ted on here? And it's me. Should have logged out.
Well, and that's the thing is I actually learned this over the weekend because we were getting Iona hooked up with a Roku as well. First of all, when you're getting someone a Roku, make sure they have internet in their house. I completely forgot until we got back to the house. I'm like, oh, you don't have Wi-Fi, do you?
When you buy a family new lamp, make sure they got power.
Make sure they got a place to plug it in. But the other thing is, once you get it set up, you log in with your email. It's going to carry over any logins that you have with that email. So like all my accounts essentially were synced up. Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
once you get your internet figured out, you got a plethora of entertainment at your fingertips. But yeah, it's always handy to log yourselves out once you're done with it, especially a public device.
Just a note, I saw it over the weekend, so I watched some Peacock.
Nice.
Thanks to some unsuspecting giver of their password.
There you go.
By the way, my dinner at Rebecca's delightful. I would argue because so what we have we went we each Kim and I shared a scallops appetizer.
Okay.
Scallops is like a salad, but I mean it's scallops and then they put stuff. It's kind of like a salad and you eat it, with carrots and whatnot. But you know it's all fancified. It's really good. Those scallops were delightful, like butter. I've eaten a lot of scallops. I ain't gonna lie, top 5.
Really?
It was good.
I'm a scallop man myself, so.
Yeah. And then for dinner, my wife went with salmon, which was very good. I had a piece, but it was
you got to try a little bit of each other's, yeah.
I went with their pork chop, and oh my gosh, again, I think it's the best pork chop I ever had. Like it was the way they seared it, and oh man, I was savoring every bite of that pork chop.
Nice.
And then they put it on this like hominy with pesto deal, and it was.
I am a hominy fan.
I was
very much.
Kim and I had delightful dinner at Rebecca's. They did an amazing job for dinner or Saturday night. So
very cool.
It was very nice, and then the hotel is nice and everything.
Yeah. Get that quaint experience. I had an interesting dinner experience myself actually over the weekend. Yeah, the theater that we were going to go see.
Was this like an Alamo Cinema Draft House or?
So here's what it is. Here's what it is, and this is something that I feel we can absolutely institute here in Roswell. It's an Allen Theater.
Oh, the company
the
Galaxy 8 here in town.
I believe it was called the Cine something 10.
Okay.
And Cineworld, I think Cineworld 10. And
they still Cinnabons?
No, they did not.
Should it's Cineworld.
But they have a service, and there's 2 places in Cruces that do this called Dinner and a Movie. And you go early, you pick your movie, you pick your seats, and then you have a menu, and there's different items like we went with hamburger, and there's all like the accoutrement you can pick to put on it and all that. But there's like chicken strips, you can do like a Philly. There's a lot of interesting options.
Like maybe like a Chili's level dining experience in a movie theater.
Yeah, and we went about an hour early to put in our order, and because it's attached to their mall, so we wandered around the mall for a little bit. Went back, we waited in line to get our drinks because we ordered the drinks early, and they just go back and get the drinks. And then as you walk in, you go to your seat, and there's just a guy there that just brings you. And ours, it was really funny because Anna was sitting next to me, and she tells the attendant, "Oh, we didn't order Chinese food because it comes in this container that looks like Chinese takeout."
Okay.
She goes, "We didn't order Chinese food."
Now there's a burger in there.
And there was a burger in there, so we got our burgers, and it was just the burger, but it was okay. So it wasn't like a table. So what it is each of the seats in the theater, I didn't check all of them, but I think several of the seats in the theater,
they have like airplane trays.
It's like a tray that like rotate, like moves in and out.
Okay.
And so you get your food, you set it up.
I was like, in an airplane a while. I was like, yeah, it's like an airplane tray.
Yeah, well, because their trays drop this way. This is more like a.
Well, it depends.
I would argue it's more like a school
it
desk.
Comes out the side.
It's like it's not even it comes out the side. It just is like right here.
It's like the one time I was in first class. That's where the tray comes from.
Yeah, it doesn't come from it just is just a tray, and you push it in and out like it swivels.
Okay.
In order for you to get out of your seat, and there's a cup holder there for your drink. Now. It was fantastic. The food was great, but here's the problem. They bring it to you as soon as you sit down.
So by the time the movie starts, you're done eating.
They should call it dinner and some trailers. Because now I look over, Ayana's basically done with her burger. I was trying to
save it.
Not even savor it, but I wanted to at least have some movie with my food.
I want to eat while the movie's playing.
So I did for about the first...
I do it all the time.
The first 10 minutes, I was able to have some food, but
I do that all the time at the regular movie theaters.
Yeah.
Like if I get my popcorn or nachos, sometimes not if I'm real hungry, I chow down. But if I'm 10 minutes early, I'll sit there and not eat them until the movie trailers start.
Right.
The official thing goes, and I'm like, okay, then I'll start eating.
But about halfway through, because we didn't get snacks because this in of itself was. not too inexpensive endeavor. So we didn't go get like concession stand snacks. But while we were shopping around in the mall, I stopped at Spencer's and grabbed a couple of things. So by the middle of this
Spencer's
movie,
still around in malls?
Yeah, they had Spencer's in the mall.
I didn't know they were still around.
So by the middle of this movie, I'm reaching into that bag and pulling out the box of Pocky that I bought. And I'm just sitting there chowing on Pocky because what else am I going to do with my hands? But yeah, it was a really unique experience. I fully think we could pull something like that off.
You saw the Daredevil
yes.
Wolverine movie, right? Was
Yep.
it any good? Or Deadpool, not Daredevil.
Deadpool.
Sorry.
Although it's funny you mentioned that, so I'm not going to get into any spoilers. But I've gone back and watched a few like Easter eggs and like stuff that you might have missed, videos or whatever. The amount of in jokes and cameos and like pokes at Disney, pokes at 20th Century Fox. There are some of the best breaks of the fourth wall I've ever seen in my entire life.
A lot of people loved it. Like everyone says, it's a funny movie.
It's so good. The soundtrack is phenomenal. They kind of blew it in the trailer, but the use of Like a Prayer in this movie is just chef's kiss. It is so good. The battle scenes are great, and they do this tease. They're like, there's a big one coming up, and then they'll go about their business. But it also sort of like it brings a lot of stuff together because like it's not a real secret that this portion of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is sort of weak. Sure. Ever since the last of the last of the Avengers, it's sort of been weak. And where is everybody now?
Right.
So this sort of like ties up all those loose ends and said, yeah, okay, we know there have been some issues, but it also talks about what happens to some of the characters that you forgot about. Like, where do they go?
Oh, okay.
And a lot of the movie is spent in that realm.
Where are they now?
The void. And it's a really interesting take on kind of like what happens to those characters that you sort of forgot about.
Well, so now
and
they got to stick to that in the MCU, though. If like they could go on, they'll have to stick to that.
I don't want to give anything away, but also in the recasting of some actors as different roles, because there's one character that pops up and Deadpool gets just ridiculously excited that person is here, and he's like, he's gonna say it, he's gonna say Avengers, but he then says a catchphrase of another popular character.
Okay.
And like I said, I really don't want to give anything away, but as soon as that happens, Deadpool completely loses any respect for him, and he sets him up to just be obliterated. I feel
like it's Captain America.
Oh my god! Yes, but I'm not going to tell you who the other one is.
All right.
That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, cool. Yeah, don't say any more because I want to see it.
It is,
and we do have to get an interview going.
It's really good. Definitely go see that movie if you haven't.
Excellent. But yeah, I'm all for that. Movie people, yeah. I back in DC there, and it was. I always say Alamo Cinema Draft because that was the company that did it. Alamo.
Yeah.
But they would not only offer dinner, it's beer too. You can get a beer and dinner and watch a movie.
And that's still definitely on my list. I want to find one of those places that does the full experience.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those places like the Alamo, they don't necessarily show first run movies. A lot of them show like pay-per-views or like
they would
older
show
movies.
But it would be like if it was Deadpool and all that, like it came out 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, yeah.
They would show it like a month after it's been out. Then they'd show it. That's
right.
when they would be like
straight up first run.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're going to replay our interview we had with Diana Velasco with the Roswell Public Library. She joined us on Friday. Unfortunately, AC unit's not working so good at the library, but they got a lot going on over there.
Really? No AC?
Yeah, it's
bummer.
well, I think it's some AC.
Okay.
It's like not like one of the units is out, but it's enough to where they didn't want to do like the preschool story times and stuff for little kids because it might be uncomfortable.
A lot of body heat.
So all that's on hold right now until as soon as they get the AC back. We're at the mercy of the world we live in and contractors. And
yes, we are.
So they're getting that taken care of. So, we'll play her interview here in just a bit. But Foist, here's your weather. Telling you it's going to be hot.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Plenty of sun and plenty of heat for the next few days. We could see a shower or thunderstorm popping up by Wednesday, but in the meantime, we're going into the low 100s for the afternoon high today. Lots of sun. Wind should stay fairly light, might be a little bit breezy. Overnight, a few clouds and low to mid 70s. Sunny and hot again on Tuesday. Afternoon highs about 100. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 81 here in Roswell. Humidity's at 47%. Winds currently out of the south at 13 miles per hour. We're looking at a high of 104 today under sunny skies. Southeast winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight with an overnight low of 73 degrees. Southeast winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tuesday, sunny, 101 for a high. South winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, saying there's a chance, 20% chance at showers and thunderstorms before midnight. Partly cloudy, overnight low of 72. Sunny, 101 on Wednesday. Once again, 20% chance at showers and thunderstorms Wednesday night before midnight. Partly cloudy, overnight low of 72. Thursday, sunny and 102. Friday, sunny and 102. Saturday, sunny and 103. And sunny and 102 on Sunday. So that's the week. Pretty much more of the same every day here with those little chances. Do that. Knock on wood, do all that for that. All right, 8:20, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to play our interview with Diana from the Roswell Public Library. That's on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
So the weeds are taking over your property? Ask yourself, what would Jim Gill do?
This is Ben from Roswell Seed. If Jim was here, the first thing he'd do is figure out what kind of weeds you're dealing with. He'd recommend the best thing to get rid of them and show you how to use it. Then, he'd probably tell you a long story about the biggest weed he ever saw.
Big or small, when problems come along, head for Roswell Seed Company and ask them, what would Jim Gill do?
At Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium, we honor and pay tribute to the achievements of your loved one by celebrating the life you shared together. Anderson Bethany Funeral Home and Crematorium is compassionate and cares about our local community and the families we serve here in southeastern New Mexico. Locally owned and operated, we will be here to help you decide how to celebrate the bond you've shared and pay tribute to the unique individual you've lost. Visit us at 2609 South Main in Roswell or call 622-5888.
It's hot, and Maze Lumber in Roswell is your BioGuard headquarters for your swimming pool. Maze is your headquarters for chlorine, including pool generators, and Soft Swim by BioGuard for your non-chlorine products. Maintain your pool this summer the right way for a season full of smiles instead of headaches. Let your pool sparkle all summer long with Maze Lumber, 115 South Virginia in Roswell.
You can count on Maze Lumber Company.
Eastern New Mexico University is proud to announce our newest offering, a Master of Social Work degree. This 100% online affordable master's degree has 3 concentrations: clinical, clinical military, and children, youth, and families. This online master's degree is perfect for the working professional, as you can earn your degree on your own time with our flexible online courses. For more information, visit www.enmu.edu/MSW. Eastern New Mexico University, student success. That's what we're about.
Hi everyone, this is Melanie from Glenn's Furniture. When was the last time you looked forward to sleep? Let's be honest here, you know a restful night's sleep has more health benefits than you consciously think about during the day. Here at Glenn's, we carry Serta mattresses, and they've been in the business for more than 90 years. Choosing one can be hard, but I want you to know we have your back. Come see us at Glenn's on the corner of Union and Alameda in Roswell, where delivery is free since 1953.
I read a quote once that said, "When you blame others, you give up your power to change." Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
We all want to play the victim at times. It even feels good to feel sorry for ourselves. But that puts a lid on our life. It stunts our growth, it damages our marriages, and if you have children, it can even hurt them.
It can seem like a daunting task to take responsibility for our actions. But the Bible says in Philippians 4:13, we can do everything through Christ who gives us strength.
If you've never experienced the love of God, then you don't know your true potential and don't realize how good God is. When you're feeling like a victim, turn to God. He'll give you the strength to move beyond yourself and help you have a victorious marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Slugs have 4 noses, but no fingers to pick them. Here's Mike Winters.
Joining us. And good morning. It is 17 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Public Library, Dinah Velasco back with us. Good morning, Dinah. How are you today?
I'm fine. Hi. Good morning, Mike.
How are you doing? Now, unfortunately, I just learned
and keeping up
life's a little hot at the library.
That's with
Wow. Shoot.
Unfortunately, these things happen. Equipment breaks, and so they are having some air conditioning issues at the library right now. So a lot of programs and things are going to be put on hold for a bit and things because, quite frankly, we don't want people in there suffering.
Yes,
the library's
truly,
open
yes.
if you want to come check out a book.
Yes, sir.
But a lot of the programs, especially for the kids, we're going to put on hold for a little bit until we can get the AC unit resolved as quick as possible here and get that fixed back up.
Yes. We were planning to start back at school as the school started,
Sure.
and with our plans, and we already have our plans for the Mother Goose and the Loose, the preschool story time, and the music and moment as well. However, we didn't predict AC will broke.
And as soon as the building's back right again, they'll fire these back up and let everybody know, and of course, hopefully, let us know, and we'll get the word out as soon as it's back to being comfortable there.
Yes.
But that being said, like I said, the library's still open. You can come and utilize all the resources of the library. You can come in and get on the computers, or if you need to check out books, and don't forget, there's a whole online side of the Roswell Public Library that you can utilize and technically never actually set foot in the building here. And all of it's accessibly free to you as long as you have a library card and in good standing here.
Sure, and we have other options that they can get information. They can get still using their privileges from the library.
Absolutely.
We just want to avoid our vulnerable people.
Well, it's health and safety.
Yes,
when it comes, we don't want to jeopardize safety concerns here for this. Yes. So to err on the side of caution, we're just going to postpone those programs until the environment is in better conditions to allow it to happen.
Yes, sir. And just to keep following us on Facebook, we're going to be posting it. We're not going to have it this week, and probably the following week. We don't know until when.
Well, it's kind of, we're at the mercy of the repairs here.
Yes.
I do want to ask real quick while we're kind of go back a little bit. Of course, now that we're back in school and everything, and the end of last month here into July, we wrapped up the summer reading program. Recap that for us. How did that go this summer?
Oh, it went awesome.
Good.
We have more than 500 participators, and they did so well. They keep going. It's not like just the first time to just get subscribe, but they keep following their passport. They had a passport, and they pretended going to different countries, but it was a different types of books that they were reading.
So they were getting exposed to things that maybe they wouldn't have chose for themselves, you know what I mean? Because they're trying to complete the passports, And so it kind of exposes them to things that maybe they wouldn't think for them or pick themselves, but then they get into it and they're like, this is kind of neat, you know what I mean? So it exposes them to new things that they may have not normally tried on their own.
Yes, I have some of the kiddos, they came out and say, you know what? I was not allowed to read the graphics one. It was part of the objectives, and
parents thought it was a little bit too mature for them at this age.
Yeah, so they have the opportunity to read anything they want, but like under the topic, under nonfiction, fiction, realistic fiction, and classic books as well.
Absolutely, and parents, please do that. Play a role in your kids, when they're reading and stuff. Help them choose, and especially if they're kind of exploring the world. And when you do come to things that maybe you don't feel your child's appropriate, explain that to them and show them. It's like, look, this is a good book, but you're just not old enough yet to maybe fully understand it. So let's wait a few years to read that one. So, but be an active participant in that conversation with your kids, so they understand that stuff, and then you avoid maybe a little bit of the because we're human nature. The moment you tell someone don't do it, the first thing I want to do is do it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But if you keep them in the conversation and explain the logic and the reasoning and just maybe at least they'll they can have an understanding. You're not doing it just to deny them something. You're doing it to try to protect them and say you're just not ready for that yet. And there's a difference there.
Some of the parents even make the comment that it was an opportunity for talk something during dinner time. So they were talking about what you're going to choose for the following week and what you're going to get for this one.
And then maybe if the book is at a point where maybe the understanding's on the bubble there, then you have the conversations at night when they have I don't understand this, or that doesn't make sense to me. Then you have that adult conversation over dinner and talk about those issues and use it as a teachable moment.
It is. Yeah. Well, we hope that they enjoyed the summer reading.
Yeah, and adults got to participate too. So you missed out for this year if you're just now hearing about it. But next summer, I guarantee we're going to fire up the summer reading program again. And it is, yes, we always want to, because ideally this is created to get kids to not stop reading during the summer. So what they're learning in school kind of stays fresh when they do go back in the fall. But at the same token, we want adults reading. Adults are equally encouraged and invited to participate. Prizes are a little different. We're not going to give you kids-related prizes because you don't want those. There'll be more adult-themed gift cards and things that adults appreciate. And you can use it as a teachable. Get your kid to read more. I'm going to do it with you, and we'll read books together, or whatever. But please, like I said, we missed this summer. But next summer here in June timeframe, when all this fires back up, you be first in line to sign up here around June 1 when they start this up again.
Sure, we're going to wait for them, and also for the teens as well. They did pretty good this time. This is the first time the teens are getting involved.
Yeah.
They like the way they were interacting, and our librarian, Rocio, is planning to do more with them.
Excellent. And that's great because that kind of is in that wheelhouse we were talking about earlier. Teens are that age group where you're like, okay, I want to expose them to certain things, but maybe a year or two away from handling this subject. You know what I mean? And so, because that's kind of that sweet spot where, there's the most transition in those young men and women's lives are right in that teen years. You know what I mean? That's the most is going on there. The most confusing things, the most, your body's doing weird things. It's just a time where everything's just, what's going on, Harry? And so it's great that, you as a parent are involved in that transition with them.
But there's surprises. There are new things coming up for teens, but I will let Rocio on time to tell you more about it.
Good deal.
Meanwhile, the Mother Goose and News, since most of my parents, they were planning to come the 13th. Unfortunately, as we said before, due to
the
AC issues, we're not going to start. But just suggesting to give us looking on Facebook, because I personally do the lesson plan for the Mother Goose and the Loose.
Okay.
I work so much fine motor skills, gross motor skills, cognitive skills, but I encourage them the first classes to the parents because we must work from inside out. We have to work on the self-esteem, self-confidence.
Absolutely.
The little ones, they feel comfortable.
Sure. They get there. And here's the thing too, is the library has a lot of resources, so maybe you can't do Mother Goose right now because of the AC unit, but they've got lots of things you can take home and work on with your child in substitute of, or in addition to, like, bring your kids to Mother Goose, when they're back up. But keep continuing to check these things out to build on, to add to coincide with what they're getting in Mother Goose and some story time and some of the other things.
Meanwhile, they can check our books. We have different kinds of books that they can interact. They can hear sounds. They can check out the hobby kit that it has 10 different boxes with different activities like the ukulele, and it gives the instructions as well. And they just
even parents might learn something too. There, keep doing your kids. You're a bunch of ukulele players.
Imagine. I mean, and they have the potential.
Absolutely.
Children have the potential, and they can check in the.
They're designed to be family engaging and family activities. So if you're wanting to do stuff, engaging with the family. Go to the library today. Maybe check these a couple out. Work on them this weekend with your family.
Yes. And we have, they don't know, but we also have nice backpacks.
Okay.
With some equipment. Like, they want to go camping, they can check those ones for hiking, for searching.
More than just books at the library here.
They're more beyond. They can just stop by, check them out, and go somewhere. And the Museum Pass as well.
Yeah, so that's another I try to mention every time we talk to the library on the thing. And I know we're starting to wrap up summer, but there's a few last hurrahs. Labor Day's still coming up. You're going to do some road trips here. Yes. There is a pass thanks to New Mexico Tourism Department, the New Mexico True Tourism Department. They have a pass that allows a family of 6 people into various museums and historical and natural sites throughout the state. I believe there's like 20 of them, 15 altogether. 15 altogether. Just off the top of my head, I know Lincoln, the courthouse and all that, that's included in there. The Museum of the Horse and the Cowboy Museum. I can't remember.
Unfortunately, we don't have the ones on Roswell, but like the one on
Cruces.
One on Las Cruces.
I feel like the Atomic Museum in Albuquerque, some of the art museums up
there.
There
are 2 in Albuquerque and 2 in Santa Fe.
Yeah, but there's stuff all around the state, and basically you show this pass and you get in for free. Like, for instance, if you had 6 people go into the Lincoln Courthouse and do all that, you're probably going to pay about $60, $70. I don't know about you, but if you can do that for free, I can find other uses for $60 or $70 here, you know.
And then we also have, like, how many families, they go to a doctor's appointment now all the way to Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Well, stop by, get the museum pass, and take the advantage and use it. You're saving a lot of money.
Absolutely. Yeah, and by the way, if you do the Lincoln thing, also do the Fort Stanton. You can buy it as a combo, and then when you're done touring Lincoln, go up the street, so to speak, and then go on over to Fort Stanton, and they do have a combo deal, and you'll save on that with the tour pass. And so you can see both locations, save some money, and it's an all day of fun right there, just right there in that one thing. So
and I give you a list of some of the activities, some of the items that we have, or privileges that I call, that they have at the library. People, they don't know how much they can
all
do
free of charge.
Yes,
that's I'm telling you, this is if you're trying to grow yourself, your family. If you need help with education side or just life skills in general, I mean, the library is a resource for all that. I know most people think of books and education, and that's very much a part of the fabric of the library. But yes, it's about community resources, abilities to get out and do things. Like you said, you can get kids to go camping and to kind of, that way you're like, I want to go camping, but I don't want to spend $500 in camping gear and all the other stuff that it takes to do that. Library can help out with a little bit of that.
We even have packages for STEM books that they can practice at home, experiments, or they can explore according to the topic. Just stop by the children's library and ask us for the list of all the privileges they could have, and I can describe each one of them. It would take us hours right now to describe all the list that I just
it would be kind of you but go in there and ask for your specialized particular area that you're looking to learn or get more involved.
We have for everyone.
Sure, and I was talking about online services and things too. Like through there, we were talking about road trips. If you want to download music or audio books or any of that kind of stuff, you could do that through there. If you need a tutor for your kid for like high school or college level stuff, there's resources online for you to access that. Again, free of charge. Doesn't cost you a dime. And
now they're allowed to learn any language through the library.
Exactly. And I say this every time. Children absorb like sponges. To teach things like foreign language and stuff like that, the most success for them to retain it and to keep it and to use it happens when you expose it to them at like 4 or 5, at these very young ages. Teaching them that second language and immerse. That's why when we do the story times and back up and we do a Spanish version, I'm like, send the kids to both. Put them in there. Immerse your kids in both, especially if you're living in South. I mean, it's useful wherever you're at, but here in Southeast New Mexico, where yes, you could find an equally full life of Spanish speaking and English. You know what I mean? You can navigate those worlds very easily in your own community, and how big of an advantage you would have be able to, or giving your kids that advantage to whatever path they choose, to have that in their pocket. You're really doing your children a service by exposing them to as much foreign language at a young age. So. If I had my known and druthers, I'd been like, I would have learned German and Japanese and everything else when I was like 5, And
I have a younger, 2-year-old children from the Mother Goose of the Luz of the last year already singing the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star in Spanish and a few words in sign language. Just expose your children.
Absolutely.
Sign language, foreign language.
That's probably the new one that if you have in your pocket is sign language. Because you never know when you come on a hearing impaired person, and now we have to play what's the best way to communicate game? Can you read my lips? Do I have to write everything down? You start in there and you just pull out your sign and like my brother, believe it or not, my brother's about 5 years older than me, but because years ago he worked in an office with a hearing impaired person and became friends with said person. Because of that, he learned sign. Like he just, a part of it's through osmosis, just by doing, but he did take some formal classes and things, and to this day he still uses it on occasion, and it just sparked because of a friendship thing, and so it's never a bad thing to have these skills in your pocket.
And you're right. Like one of the parents, it was one of them that she knew a few words that she learned in her school. She shared with the other parents. They socialize. They share what they know, and children socialize as well.
Absolutely.
And that is safe the environment.
And plus, it celebrates culture and lowers the fear and the things that cause our issues that we have with each other and the differences we have each other. This breaks down those walls and melds it together. So they come and they see the multiple sides of everyone's culture, and they see the good and bad, and that breaks down barriers, and that creates bonds, and it's all good stuff.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share an anecdote of a parent.
Please.
I started 2021, and this lady, she's coming since then. She came during the pregnancy of her second child. Well, a few months ago, she came by first time with the baby. The baby hears my voice, and he pulled his head and he tries to reach the voice. He recognized my voice. He recognized me. He got all excited. It was a special moment.
Yeah.
And I encourage pregnant women to come, because the baby, by 20 weeks, they're already listening.
They're already sponges absorbing and trying to get their way in the world here and figure out what's going on. It's human. It's the brain. It's
and I'm just saying about just one program, the Mother Goose, but there's so many
and that
more
happens
programs.
on an everyday and a thing. Yeah. And
there's way more. Like when they speak to Zoe, the dog that we have once a week.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
that's another great program. And again, these are on hiatus while the air conditioning is going on. But when they come back up, that's a great program where, fortunately, some of our DA and CASA dogs and things, they are, when they're not doing their day jobs, they do a thing monthly where they come to the library and children can read to the dogs. And the cool part is, you get to roll around the floor and play with dogs. That's, everyone loves that. But the other thing is, dogs don't care how good or bad you're reading. So these kids get a chance to practice. So when they stumble and things, it's no big deal. The dog, you know what I mean? And so it really gives them a comforting space to practice to read without fear of screwing up and you know what I mean? And at the same time, you get to hang out with dogs. I mean, it's a win-win, and it really, like getting back to what you're saying, it puts positive experiences in these kids' lives. So when they think of reading or think of these things, they associate the positive, much like you're talking about with your voice here, and they hear that as positive. It's the same thing. They see the dogs, they put that together as a positive.
They made a connection with the dog.
And by the way, they're accidentally getting better at reading and more comfortable with reading while they're at it.
But if parents want some tips to do at home while you're not coming to the library, we have some state calendars that gives you some tips, and they can just ask us. They can pick them up for free. Okay. We have it in English and in Spanish.
And they kind of look just like
we have back and forth.
They look like your monthly activity calendars too. So you can put them up on the fridge just like those, and you can kind of use them like what
are we going to do today?
Yeah.
What are we going to do? And
almost,
as you see,
almost like when you get to the holidays and you have the
the 12-day Christmas.
Yeah, the little where you fold to see which each day going to. You could treat it kind of like that. It's like, all right, and let the kid, all right, tell us what we're going to learn today, and make it into a thing. But that's again.
Just ask us for the state calendar, and we're having it on the children area, and they're welcome to pick them up.
And if you're kind of missing some of this stuff, don't hesitate to just walk in the library, go up to the children's desk or the main desk and say, hey, I was hearing you guys talk on the radio. I really want some resource to help my kids. I caught some of it, but can you kind of, tell me? And any of the librarians will be happy to break that down and say, we've got this, this, and this. And then you can get personal and say, well, I'm here. And they say, okay, well, maybe we should wait on this, but this is what you need right now. And so talk with the library staff and let them explain your situation. This is what they do. This is what they do every day is they go and help people and they know all the resources of the library. So they can point you into the things that even if you think that your librarian can probably say, well, there's that, but there's so much more than that. And here it is. So.
Yes. And once we open all the programs, well, they can also book for get trained even on the maker space.
Yeah.
We have a great instructor, and now that she's given certificate to get the training how to use the Cricut, how to use the there's another machine, I think it's a laser printer, and also
that's kind of Caitlin's area of work. And when Caitlin comes on, if we have her on, that's her. She's an artist type when she's not library, and so this is kind of both of her worlds coming together right now.
It is.
It's a cool thing. So, by the way, too, if you're in there and you want to talk about the that kind of stuff with Caitlin, and you love art, talk with her about art too. She would love to. But it's kind of again melding of the community and things. But yeah, they got the 3D printers. They got the glow. Like if you want to use this to set the table for maybe you to starting a small business someday, or first it's just, hey, a 3D printer. I've always loved these things and I'm curious about them. Maybe I get a chance, and you can't afford to buy one because they aren't cheap.
How many teachers they have to spend in their own pocket?
Yeah.
Well, now they can make the models. And use
the widgets
classes.
for whatever they need, or if they absolutely teachers.
Shapes and 3D shapes.
As my wife is a teacher, I know what goes on. You spend a lot of money on out of your own pocket for your classroom and things like that. Maybe the library can offset some of those costs and get some of a little bit of that stuff done for you.
We're providing the tools.
Yeah.
We're providing the tools, and we're providing the learning and the training as well. They just have to bring their own, maybe the material, the co-work, but it will save a lot for them.
But I would say it's probably a lot cheaper and a lot thing. Yes. Like if you're making, I don't know, whistles or paper clips or whatever it is you're making, it's probably a lot cheaper than just buying them online somewhere,
They just have to talk to Kate.
Yeah. And she'll get you checked out on it and show you what to do and everything else. But, and think of it too, is that maybe you're starting a business, want to learn ways, or you just, again, stuff for people in library. And again, this is adult. I mean, sure, kids are more than, but this is equally something an adult would be into as well, and that's something we want to remind, that the entire family has opportunities at the library. The kids could be over here doing things, mom and dad doing something over here. That's what the library is. There's something there for everybody. And it's not just, you can do the old school. You want to go grab the paper and sit in the corner and read the paper? Yes. But that's the tip of the iceberg. It really, obviously tax season, people know the library for getting their tax documents and doing all that. And yes, they continue to do that, but please, there's so much more for that. If you need help with that stuff. And by the way, and obviously now, the AC things kind of put a damper in things, but when that's back going, every week, every weekend, and we talk about these story times and things for the kids, there's equally as many of those kind of programs for adults. The gardeners meet once a month there to talk gardening if you love. Chess clubs meeting every month if you want to learn or be part. There's the quilter, craft crocheters, the ones that they do that kind of stuff. They're meeting every month, so if you want to make friends there. And by the way, there's room for more of these. Maybe you have a skill set or a hobby or something that you think community would like to do more together. Talk with the library folks. Maybe we can set up a Saturday or a Tuesday or whatever night works best for everybody, where people that like that come out and spend a couple hours at the library doing that thing. We have the Lego family nights, and those are all the family. And I don't care what anybody says. Grown people love Legos just as much as little children because they're so multi-generational now. Pretty much every person on the planet, I think we're at an age where, Legos have been around so long that I think every generation grew up with Legos. And so, we're now at that point. And so that's, again, another family bonding thing that one's a little more kid-centric, but it's equally, mom and dad can have just as much fun and be just as enriched as the kids in that one.
We have a huge puzzle on the entrance, and people pass by and they put a couple pieces and other ones on.
Well, that's to be honest, that's how a puzzle should be. Yeah, I get it. You have your own puzzle, but to me, you go into a house and there's just like a half-done puzzle, and people just randomly walk by and put a piece in when they got. To me, that's like how a puzzle should be. That's a social element a little bit. We all contribute our piece to make the whole puzzle to put together. So I kind of like that. So that's cool. I think every library in the country should have that. You just walk in and put a piece in the puzzle. But that's great. But yeah, absolutely. Please take advantage of this stuff. Your family, and now that kids are back in school and we're getting kind of back into the fall routine, please utilize the Roswell Public Library as a resource for you to incorporate that into your family. And whether it's to go grab that travel pass tourism pass to go see some sites around the state, or if it's coming to get one of these STEM kits to work on with your family over the weekend, or if it's your teenager needing a graphic novel, or like you said, a backpack for the family to go get a getaway to go spend time in the woods or something, or some other activity. It's not who knows? Maybe hey, we want to pick up badminton or something. There's probably kits that show some of these kinds of activities and things, and so utilize it. Come to the library. Come talk to the folks in the library. Don't hesitate to go to the city's website, roswell-nm.gov. There's a tab for the library. There's a direct link to the library, but it's a bunch of dashes and dots. So it's probably just easier to go to roswell-nm.gov. There's a tab that says library. You click that, and that opens all the online stuff I was talking to you earlier about, the free tutoring, the periodicals, the audiobooks, all that stuff is through that part of the website.
Yes.
So,
and I want to thank the community. They're being supporting us. They understanding the situation. They stop by and they say, "Wow,
we've all been there. I think we've all come home and
there,
like, "Uh-oh,
yes.
it's
And
hot
they
here."
understand.
Yeah.
But we want to let them know so they don't take the risk.
Well, but please, and if you have any questions about any of that, don't hesitate to call the library. And like you said, if you're looking for, sorry, there's no story time today. What do you recommend I do? They'll be happy to give you some suggestions on that kind of stuff. Yes, it is. And of course, don't forget when you check out books and everything, there is the drop off there. It's available 24/7. So you can drop off books after hours, and even when the days the libraries are closed. Say that it just happened to be the day your book's supposed to be back, and that's not it. You can drop them off at the library. Now, I'm telling you, it's smart. It's got sensors, so you can't pull a wool over anybody's eyes and say, I dropped that book off yesterday. It timestamps every time a book comes in, so it knows exactly when you turned in the book. So just if you're going to try that game, you will lose. But
but in case they want to keep the book, they can call us and we can renew it for
absolutely,
them.
and you can renew over the phone. One thing I do want to mention, we were talking about renewals and things. The one thing, that New Mexico Tourism Pass that we were talking about earlier, that you have to be in person, you check it out, you get it for 7 days, and then you have to bring it back. You can't renew it. You can't because it's a first come first serve type deal. And if someone walks in, so it behooves you to come in and check it out like the day before, or maybe the same day that you're getting out of town. Especially if you're going to be gone about a week, that way you got enough time to do all that. But please note, you do have to return it. You can't renew it. Good news is there's plenty of these passes, so I don't think anybody's been turned away from not getting a pass. But they are first come first serve. You can't reserve them. You just come and get them if they're available. You can have them. But the good news is library has plenty of passes, and they haven't had to say no to anybody yet. But just be warned on that. So if you're planning your trip and things, when you do get your pass, be noticed you only get it for 7 days. So don't get it too early and then have to return it before you even go on your trip. So just something to think about there too. Is there any other things or program or issues or something that we wanted to let the public know that we make sure we get?
Well, we're until further notice. Keep looking on Facebook. All the programs are being pulled. Your best resource is if you're a Facebook user, like the Roswell Public Library on Facebook, Instagram. They also are used. So either one of those platforms, and that way, whenever there's these updates, like the AC is working, come on back, that'll be the first place those information goes. And so that way you can. And of course, if you have any questions related to anything, you can shoot a message through Facebook. I'm sure Instagram has something similar. I'm not very Instagram. Or they can just give us a call.
Or you can call ahead and give out the main number for the library there.
It's a 575-622-7101.
There you go, and call it. And if you do not, if you call after hours, leave a voicemail. They'll get back to you as soon as people are back in the building again and all that good stuff.
And we're open from 10 to 6. We're 10 to 7.
Okay.
And except the Fridays and Saturdays from 10 to 6 and Sundays from 2 to 6.
There you go. And if you do come to the library right now, wear light clothing. It's going to be a little bit warm.
It is.
How are your staff doing? Because they got to be there all day. Are they drinking lots of water?
Yes, drinking plenty of water or Henley branches.
You see people with IVs walk around with IVs hooked up? That's staff. They're just constantly staying hydrated as they walk around.
Yes. We take care of our stuff.
Stay cool and stay hydrated while you guys are in there doing your thing. Yes. And folks, like I said, I think what it is it's not like it's completely unbearable in there, but because it's like I'm sure there's more than one unit, maybe one's down or something, so it's not operating efficiently, and so it's a little uncomfortable. Yes. But if you're just going there to get books, and you'll be fine. But like I said, we don't want to expose the kids and folks to sitting there for an hour or two. It might be a little uncomfortable for them after a while. So but as soon as we get, they're at the mercy of like everybody else, the supply and demand parts and everything else. when all that stuff comes in and they can get ready to get it fixed, they will crank it up, and we'll be back at full swing with story times and Mother Goose and hanging out with the dogs and all that good stuff.
Yes, and story time as well, and also the weekends programs.
Absolutely. But again, like and follow the Facebook for Roswell Public Library on Facebook or Instagram and you can always go to the city's website, roswell-nm.gov. Click on the library tab there, and you can learn and access all basically the Roswell Public Library world through the online there too. And then, like I said, library is open, normal hours. However, some of the children's programs and all that stuff's been put on hold temporarily until the air conditioning can be resolved here, fixed and resolved. So, good deal.
Well, thank you.
Diane, as always, appreciate the visit. Thank you for joining us here today. Stay cool.
Thank you so
much. I know
much.
you're going back to the I think it was, maybe long sleeves was not a good choice today.
It keeps somebody. I know it wasn't.
It is light though. I should have wore short sleeves, but oh well. Thank you as always, Diane, and take care. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
All right. Okay. It is 9:48. This day is just zipping by. This show's almost over. I feel like it just started. All right, let's do this. Let's pause for local news. Hannity update, Dallas Cowboys report. I'm not a fan, but some of you are. And we'll be back, and Wall Street Business. We'll be back after that. Don't go away.
By Republican Senate candidate Nello Domenici. Domenici showing her opposition to a national ban on abortion. Domenici is trying to unseat incumbent Democrat Senator Martin Heinrich in the November election. The 30-second ad is titled Trusted and notes that abortion is legal in New Mexico, and she wants it to stay that way. Domenici says she strongly opposes any federal abortion ban and says women should be trusted and respected. The Artesia Bulldogs football team is opening practice. They'll be opening the season on August 23rd against Carlsbad. The Bulldogs will try to take their third consecutive state 5A title. The program deep with experience this year, 40 seniors on the roster this year under Coach Jeremy Maupin. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Plenty of sun and plenty of heat for the next few days. We could see a shower or thunderstorm popping up by Wednesday, but in the meantime, we're going into the low 100s for the afternoon high today. Lots of sun. Wind should stay fairly light, might be a little bit breezy. Overnight, a few clouds and low to mid 70s. Sunny and hot again on Tuesday. Afternoon highs about 100. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All across America, this is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
I'm James Flippin. After the big sell-off 1 week ago today, the market actually finished mixed for the week. The Dow was up, as was the NASDAQ Composite. The S&P 500 down a little bit last week, and it was all about concern for the market being disappointing jobs data, as well as traders questioning the Fed's course in terms of rates. But then the investors were buying up the dip and betting there is not a recession on the horizon. The benchmark U.S. 10-year Treasury, its yield fluctuated last week, highlighting the volatility. It fell as low as 3.7%, went over the 4% level at one point. And kind of lost in the shuffle was the fact that geopolitical risks that had been highlighted 1 week ago today, the threat that the Middle East war could expand, that cooled off a bit. And U.S. crude oil futures were up 4% last week. In company-specific news, it's been a big year for chipmaker NVIDIA, but the AI darling finished lower for the week. And we're nearing the end of the corporate earnings season. More than 90% of the companies on the S&P 500 have now reported quarterly results, but look for retailers Home Depot and Walmart, as well as Cisco Systems, to report this week. That's the Market Report. I'm James Flippin.
This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report. Red Apple Audio Networks remembers Blue Dogs. Resort living can be yours with 361 days of sunshine when you live at the residences at 400 Central in St. Petersburg, Florida. Now under construction. Call 727-205-8517. That's 727-205-8517. The residences at 400 Central in St. Petersburg, Florida. Go to 400central.com. That's the number 400central.com.
Are you looking for something fresh, or are you trying to find that confident smile you once had? Hi, this is Dr. Sarah Usher with Carabelli Dental, and I would like to invite you to our office to experience a new kind of dentistry. We have the most advanced technology and a highly trained team to provide you the best experience possible. Whether you're looking for a bright new smile or just want to make sure everything checks out for the best, call us today and set up your appointment for your next great experience.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell, or call 575-622-4455.
At Martine's Capital Cafe, come in and enjoy a delicious variety for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Try our burritos, huevos rancheros, asado, chorizo, sausage, flantas, fajitas, chili rellenos, quesadillas, enchiladas, sopapillas, and don't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger and so much more. Everything is prepared with the finest and freshest ingredients. Martine's Capital Cafe. Quality, value, tradition, and the most delicious New Mexican food since 1989. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th Street in Roswell.
Talk radio has landed on the all-new 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
And it's 9 o'clock. Town Hall News up next. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. A proposal first rolled out by former President Trump a few months back has been adopted by Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris. Mr. Trump is crying foul.
Over the weekend in Las Vegas, the vice president promised to work to eliminate federal taxes on tips paid to restaurant and other service industry employees. Turns out that's a promise Donald Trump made 2 months ago, also at a Las Vegas rally. The former president is now accusing Harris of copying his pledge and claims on social media that Harris, quote, has no ideas, she can only steal from me. He calls the no taxes on tips policy a Trump idea. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Former President Trump due to sit down today for an interview with Elon Musk. The Tesla chief, owner of the X social media platform, endorsed Mr. Trump last month. There has been a knife attack in an area of central London that's popular with tourists. 2 people, an 11-year-old girl and a 34-year-old woman, were injured. They've been taken to a trauma center. A man is under arrest, nothing yet on a motive. Republican vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance says the Trump ticket has a vision for America, and part of it involves healthy and growing families.
I do want us to become a more pro-family country. I want us to have more babies and more families. I want our neighborhoods to be filled with the laughter of children and thriving families. We and the pro-life community, I think, have to figure out how to better make our case to the American people and how to make it easier to have a baby. It's way too expensive. Housing is through the roof. Medical costs are through the roof.
Vance on ABC News This Week with George Stephanopoulos. More American military ships, along with aircraft and troops, will be going to the Middle East. The Pentagon says the mission is the defense of Israel, as Iran is standing by its pledge to attack the Jewish state. On Wall Street, the Dow up 14 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Running a business is tough. Operational demands change fast, and keeping up can feel impossible. That's where DSI comes in. We've been helping local businesses rise
power following disputed national elections.
What the U.S. is offering is to lift the sanctions, lift the charges that they have against President Maduro and many of the government officials, drug trafficking charges, in exchange for a peaceful transition before his term ends in January. I think also what the article says is they're offering sort of total amnesty, that they're promising that they won't go after him for human rights violations or for other charges when and if he leaves power.
The BBC's Leonardo Rocha. Hundreds of firefighters backed by more than 30 water-dropping planes battling a major wildfire. It's raging out of control on the northern fringes of the Greek capital. A children's hospital, a military hospital, and 2 monasteries evacuated early today. Townhall.com. There will be no repeat performance for a marathon swimmer in one of the Great Lakes.
A swimmer who crossed Lake Michigan in 1998 has ended his effort to repeat the feat. 60-year-old Jim Dreyer turned around and returned to shore by boat 2 days after he began swimming from Michigan to Wisconsin. Dreyer calls himself the Shark and is known as an extremely strong swimmer. His supporters say he is physically okay. Jason Walker reporting.
With a spectacular closing ceremony, the 2024 Paris Olympic Games are history, and the U.S. comes away with the most medals, 126 medals in all, and 40 of them are gold. Up next, it's Los Angeles. L.A. will be hosting the Games for a third time come 2028. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Crazy
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Shut up.
I just heard that.
I know, right?
Happy Monday, everybody.
Yes.
Made it to Monday.
Indeed.
So, I was scrolling on my Facebooks, as one does.
Yep.
And I came across a post on one of these Gen X pages that it just had one of those moments that I never thought anything about this until this question was posed.
Okay.
And it's a Friday the 13th question.
Okay.
Now, you look in the comments, and all the horror nerds just shoot this apart.
Sure.
But as soon as I saw this, I was like, that's a solid question. Why is Jason Voorhees so big if he died as a kid? Because he was killed, but he's drowned in the lake.
Yeah, Camp Crystal Lake, but was he actually killed?
Well, he drowned in the lake.
That's how. Yeah, that's the story.
So, does he grow underwater?
Well, no.
Like
I mean,
sea monkey?
Did we see him actually cease breathing?
I don't know. I don't remember. I'm not that.
It's possible he came back. I mean, I don't know.
The nerds are all talking about mom's superpowers and some kind of all this, and I'm like, no, he was drowned and died as a kid in the lake, and now he came up as an adult with a hockey mask, killing everybody.
Maybe he was. When he was drowned, he got swollen because of all the water.
Right.
And he came back. He's just big. He's just full of water.
I've seen. He's a different kind of big.
Of all the things that people tried to stop Jason Voorhees, nobody ever attempted a sponge.
Right.
A big hug to squeeze it out. You know.
We just need a squeegee.
Yeah.
It just made me. I was like, you know, that's a valid point. What happened there? And then, of course, you know, it's one of those. Well, it's the movies. We can explain it any way we want to explain it, but you know,
That's a good question.
Let's just suspend disbelief for a minute that yes, there is a zombified dude that come out the lake that's running around with a machete killing people at the summer camp.
Right.
Say we buy all that, but come on, at least give me a plausible reason why he was a little boy and now he's a grown man. At least make him a camp counselor.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know enough about the franchise to I literally got in this conversation over the weekend. I don't do horror. I
don't
never
really
have.
either. That's why. But I remember watching. Now I don't know. I've seen the first 3 or 4 of the when they were all together and they showed them. I did remember, and this was the 90s because I think I was graduated high school. And the what was it? Jason X, I think is that one that came out around that time.
When you were in high school?
No, after high school.
Oh, okay.
This was early 90s, so I was probably 18, 19.
I would say, Jason X came out, and then it was Freddy versus Jason was the
Or maybe
one
it was Freddy versus Jason.
Okay.
I went to the theater and saw one of these train wrecks, and I was like, what an awful movie. And then at the end of the movie, spoiler, I think it's Jason X. It's leading to Freddy versus Jason.
Okay.
So at the end of Jason X, you see the Jason mask sitting in the dirt, just sitting there. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Freddy claw comes up, grabs the mask, and sucks it into the ground.
That was the post-credit scene.
And I just remember laughing and cackling like De Niro and Cape Fear. Everyone was all like, and I'm like, I don't know why. I just Cape Feared that.
It's weird. I actually ended up seeing, I don't remember what the circumstances were behind me going to the theater to see this, but I went to the movie theater to watch Jason Goes to Hell. Of all the ones.
He thought it was Ernest Goes to Camp.
And that's and that's the one where they go to space. Where he's killing people on the space station.
That's when I'm like, at least the first 3 or 4 of these, he's at the lake. He's just various groups of teenagers doing dumb things while he comes and kills
them. And that's the funny part is they're on a space station, but they still work in we're gonna die. You know what? We're in this room together. This might be the last chance. And there's all of a sudden a sex scene, and then the horrific murder that follows. I'm like, you're in space. Come on.
So I never watched that one. Does Jason need a space helmet?
I'm pretty sure no. I'm pretty sure he just walks freely.
He's been underwater all these years. I figure space should be a problem.
According to Ayana in the chat, so they say online he grew up and lived in the woods. He started killing people since his mom was killed. The camp counselors were busy having relations, so they never saw the person who killed her, and that's why he kills counselors. Also, he's immortal.
Just saying.
Just so we're clear. Also, he's immortal.
What happened. The comment turned into that, and I'm not that nerdy and horror.
Well, and Ayana is very much a horror fan, so
I'm just like, hey,
I'll acquiesce to the
drowned
expert.
Kid, kill people, man. What happened there?
There's got to be some filler story there.
All right, I need to get an interview going, so I probably need to wrap this up. We did have Sheriff Mike Harrington join us on Friday, and he brought with him
a harem of officers.
Yeah, I was joking about 1/3 of the sheriff's department. No, he actually brought 6 of the new sheriff's deputies, their newest sheriff's deputies, who, as we speak, are starting the police academy. They're at the academy right now. They shipped out Sunday.
Nice.
So they came on Friday to chit-chat and talk a little bit. So
by the middle of the week, they'll be right in there. My dearest Beauregard, it is my intent with this letter.
Though I've never been through law enforcement training academy, never been through that. I have been through military basic training. And if it's anything like that, which there are similarities, maybe differences, but similarities, day one is a suck fest. And they're not having a good day right now, is what I'm going to guess.
Oh, yeah, they're sweating. They're getting put through their paces.
Well, I don't know what they're doing, but yeah, I that was those days where it's pick them up, put them down, put your nose in the corner, a whole lot of that going on.
Oh, yeah.
So, now, granted, that was a different time.
Things have changed since then.
They might give them a latte when you get there now.
I don't think it's that. I think there's got to be some happy medium between the two.
I have no idea.
Some kind of creamy middle.
But I've got to be thinking they're having a bad day today. That's just going to be my hunch. So anyway, 9:13, we're going to play that interview with the Sheriff's Department here in a bit. But first, your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Plenty of sun and plenty of heat for the next few days. We could see a shower or thunderstorm popping up by Wednesday, but in the meantime, we're going into the low 100s for the afternoon high today. Lots of sun. Wind should stay fairly light, might be a little bit breezy. Overnight, a few clouds and low to mid 70s. Sunny and hot again on Tuesday. Afternoon highs about 100. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, 84 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity's at 43%. Those winds are blowing out of the south at 16. The tree's moving a little bit, but I don't know if it's 16 mile per hour worth moving, but maybe. Oh, no. You know what? I see the trees in the back whipping pretty good. That might be accurate. Sunny today and hot. 104 the high. Winds out of the southeast, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Clear tonight. Overnight low of 73 degrees. Southeast winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Sunny. 101 for a high tomorrow. Tomorrow night, they're saying there's a 20% chance at showers and thunderstorms before midnight. Partly cloudy, 72 for an overnight low. South winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, 101 once again. Wednesday night, also looking at a 20% chance at showers and thunderstorms before midnight. Partly cloudy, 72 for an overnight low. Thursday, sunny, 102. Friday, sunny, 102. Saturday, sunny, 103. And Sunday, sunny and 102. So all hot all week. Like I said, tomorrow night, Wednesday night, could see a storm or some rain. Do your rain dances. Knock on wood. Make sure we have that happen. All right, 9:14. We're going to take a 2.5-minute break. Then we're going to play our interview with Sheriff Mike Harrington and our newest sheriff's deputies to the Chaves County Sheriff's Department. That's up next. Don't go away.
Hey Roswell, summer's winding down, but the deals are still hot during the Make It Ford Summer Sales Event at the all-new Roswell Ford. Right now, get crazy low prices on all-new Fords and quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. And top dollar for your trade. Stuck in your loan or lease? Roswell Ford wants to get you released, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. So you can drive a new Ford or quality pre-owned vehicle for a lot less. For a limited time, get 0% APR and $1,900 in bonus cash on 2024 F-150 trucks. And make no payments for 90 days. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles, all in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Don't settle for a low-quality, overpriced clunker. Buy a quality pre-owned vehicle from Roswell Ford for a lot less. Roswell Ford has partnered with the most aggressive lenders that will push to approve you today, even with bad or no credit. Lower prices, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford with new management and a whole new attitude. 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 36 months at $27.78 per thousand. Subject to lender approval through Ford credit. Offers not combined. Sale ends 9/2/24.
Artesia General Hospital has welcomed cardiologist Luther Weathers to the team. Dr. Weathers is board certified with a subspecialty in cardiovascular diseases. He treats patients with genetic heart defects, heart rhythm disorders, heart failure, coronary artery disease, chronic high blood pressure, and other cardiovascular diseases. Call 575-736-8270 to schedule your visit with Dr. Weathers in Artesia, or visit artesiageneral.com/cardio appointment. Se habla español.
A bedroom is a quiet escape where I go for peace and comfort. This is Melanie at Glenn's Furniture. I know how important the most private room in your home is for your life and the lives of your family. That's why we offer a selection of bedroom groups that make living easier and more comfortable. Modern designs, bold curves, and stylish fabrics elevate your bedroom space. You'll find your new set easy to sleep on and even easier to own. Come see us at Glenn's on the corner of Union and Alameda, where delivery is free since 1953.
Edge Safety and Services, LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for roustabout crew and a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screening. Edge Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com or apply in person at 2801 North Freeman in Artesia. Edge Safety and Services is an equal opportunity employer.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Sigmund Freud once believed that cocaine could be used to help treat a morphine addiction. Mike used bacon to get over his addiction to beef. Here's Mike Winters.
Joining us. And good morning. It is 20 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, of course, Chaves County Sheriff Mike Harrington back with us. Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
How are you today?
For having us. I am doing real well.
Looking good in rehab
good.
And everything. For us that don't know, he's getting some wheels replaced, or got a wheel and working on another one later down the road here.
Total knee replacement, but I'm going to tell you, don't hesitate to get it done. It is the best thing to do.
Yes.
It is immediate relief, and I'm getting the next one done in November, and it's be a brand new man. Well, at least $1 million man.
That's right.
So that's what I'm after.
From the knees down. He's a 21-year-old buck again.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But one thing that I know is, and you're going to see here in just a minute with all the deputies that I have here. These are all the new deputies who I can now say sick 'em.
Yes, this
so
is.
I don't have to be the runner as much anymore. So now what we do is we have been putting them through some tests and some training and some stuff that they understand running.
Yes, for folks, that was the other part. We have Sheriff Mike Harrington here, and Sheriff also brought 6 of your newest deputies to the Chaves County Sheriff's Department. All 6 are now in their initial training, and then next step is to go to the academy and spend the time at the academy getting your official training,
certification, and
then so just to give folks kind of a timeline for these folks, once they go into the academy and can complete the academy, what's that next step? I mean, there's more follow-on training. You just don't say, here's your car and good luck to you.
So right now, a lot of it is just learning the basic stuff. Once they get hired on, before they go to the academy, it's a lot of physical fitness stuff, more so of learning the basic law. When they get to the academy, they're going to learn the book way of doing things, and there will be some hands-on training, but when they get back and they get into the field training officer program, which is actually them with a trainer, that's when they start learning how to apply everything that they learn.
Your more experienced officers.
For 3 weeks, they'll shadow. Well, they're in the car riding. They don't really do a lot. Then the next 3 weeks, now they're doing more. The next 3 weeks, now they're driving, and then they're doing more. So for 3 months, it's
part of that too is learning the community.
Yes.
I mean, I imagine some of you guys probably born and raised here and probably know this county like the back of your hand.
Yeah.
But you may not know the people and know the neighborhoods and know what's going on here and there and who does whom to what to where and all that good stuff. And as a deputy sheriff, you learn that stuff real quick because you're in the neighborhood. You're coming around. You're seeing. You're generally in most neighborhoods looked at as, hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing today? Yeah, you see that weirdness going on over there? You might checking that out. That's typically a day in the life for a sheriff.
And you also when you're in the field training program, like I said, you go to the academy, you're learning so much, you really don't know how to apply it. Mm-hmm. And then when you get back, now you learn how to apply it. But more importantly, you learn how to use your mouth to talk to people because you're out there by yourself. Mm-hmm. And it's important to know that backup is coming, but it's going to be a little while.
Sure.
So you need to be able to take care of things.
You got a great time for the posse to arrive.
So, and just like everybody else, it's hard to be a jerk to somebody who's being nice.
You know, very true.
And so if you come across as being a jerk, you're going to get treated like a jerk. If you treat somebody who's being a jerk properly, usually they'll come around. Now, there are some that just we know no matter what you do, it's not going to be good, and they don't hate you. They hate what you represent.
Absolutely. And they hate the situation they're in, and they're taking that out on you probably as well, too.
So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to have each one of the deputies talk to you individually and introduce themselves.
Meet our newest Chaves County Sheriff's deputies.
So we're going to do that right now.
All right. Well, let's see. We got 3 right in front near microphones.
Yeah, but I want her to be seen. So let's get
let's introduce everybody. We'll get our 3 right in front of the microphones here. Since we'll start with you. Go ahead and pull the mics. Yeah, that way get them right near you here so we can all.
If he starts to sing, make sure to look at him.
Turn it off.
Are you our crooner of the bunch?
Yes, sir.
He's like, no. So I guess first introduce yourself and tell us first off, where you're from, why you decided to become a deputy.
Okay, well, my name is Justine Rodriguez. I am born and raised here in Roswell.
Okay.
I grew up in Hagerman in the small towns like that way, Hagerman, Dexter.
But Chaves County's your home.
You've
been here your whole life.
My whole life.
Very good.
Whole 25 years that I've been here.
So what made you to decide this is your path for you?
I just really like the career. It's very rewarding.
Okay.
It's an experience not many people get.
Sure.
It's very different every single day. It's never the same.
Just curious, do you have a family background in law enforcement, or are you the first in the family?
My boyfriend is a RPD officer here.
Okay.
So him being a PD officer kind of helped push me into, I like.
Okay. Does that cause any kind of friendly rivalry. It's like one's a deputy, one's a RPD.
Oh,
together, it sounds like a sitcom. We could do it.
He's envious.
Or now is someone going to try to lure the other one? It's like, hey, I had a good day today. You should come over here. It's like, oh, my day was pretty good too. You should come over here. Very cool. Excellent.
So
now, how long has your boyfriend been a police officer?
Roughly 9-10 years now.
Okay, so he's got a few years under his
a lot
belt.
of years.
So I imagine for you though, that's got to be good on the training side.
Yes.
Like he's been there, done that.
Yes.
And when you're going through your books and studying, he might know exactly what's going on in those
he
books
helps
and
a
can
whole
help.
lot.
So you really got like a tutor at home too. So
Yes.
that helps.
Thankful for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. For you, Deputy, introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from and why you became a Chaves County Sheriff Deputy.
I'm Kalani Davis, and I'm from Ruidoso.
Okay.
I'm not from here.
Okay.
I lived everywhere from here all the way to the West Coast.
Okay. Do you have like military family? Or?
I do not. Well,
what?
No.
I was just curious. I usually when I hear people bounce around, it's usually because they were military brats.
No,
so I was just kind of curious.
Jobs.
Just opportunities took you where you went.
Yeah.
Okay. But originally from Ruidoso?
Yes.
Okay. So, are you grew up in the mountains? Are you used to wearing 100 pounds of gear in 105 degree temperature?
Yeah. I've done many jobs, construction, oil fields.
Gotcha. So you're used to taking a little heat, New Mexico heat, and all that. So,
Right.
so what was your desire to say that I want to serve as a deputy? What caused you to make that decision?
I looked up to my grandfather a lot, and he was a deputy back in Hilo.
Okay, so family and law enforcement.
Yes.
Doing it. Was he a deputy here?
No, in Hilo, on the Big
Hilo?
Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's
Yes.
well, certainly you can only go so far, right? I chased the criminal to the end, and then they ran out of land.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Good deal. Yeah, do you get to go back to Hawaii and stuff? Do you have family there?
Yes.
Oh.
I just haven't gone just because
it's expensive. It's an island that's in the middle of the ocean, and it's really hard to get there sometimes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I get it.
And he just had a baby, so it's going to be.
Oh, yeah. So priorities have shifted. Very cool. Excellent. So that's got to be exciting. How new of a daddy are you?
Well, 8 years.
8 years. Okay, but for the new baby.
The new one is a week and a half now.
Okay. I was like, man, that's a long pregnancy, 8 years. Well, cool. Well, awesome. All right, your turn. Introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and why you decided to become a Chaves County Sheriff's Deputy.
I'm Deputy Hernandez. My first name is Valeria. Last name Hernandez. I was born in El Paso, Texas, and I was raised here in Roswell for most of my life.
So you're well versed in the the Southwest lifestyle and everything else. Good deal. So what made you decide to become a deputy?
I started off in dispatch in Eddy County. I did that for almost 2 years.
All right.
And I liked what that job, opportunities that it provided for me, and I decided that I wanted to be on the other side of the radio and do law enforcement.
Sure. So you probably have a unique perspective because you get to see, because as a dispatch, you're getting the initial calls, you're getting the raw as it happens type situation.
Yes.
So I imagine that's going to, because you have that experience, that'll probably serve you well as a deputy. Maybe, because since you've worn the dispatcher shoes, maybe as a deputy that you can ask the questions that, you know what I mean? Like, because of that information, I imagine it's going to give you just a little bit of advantage sometimes in certain ways because you know how a dispatcher thinks. So you're thinking, okay, maybe how they get information. You know what I mean? So that's got to be a huge advantage for you there a little bit.
And also doing the job now actually out in the field is a little different than the dispatcher because in the dispatcher world, it's like watching a movie up to the very end and all of a sudden the cable goes out.
Right.
You don't really know how it ends.
Sure, you're like, well, dang, I want to.
What just happened? So now this is the other side of that.
She
knows how to deal with them as they call in and are frantic, but now she also knows how it's going to end.
Well, for a guy that loves to know the ending of a story, I think there should be a rule that you let the dispatcher in on that. Like, say, hey, since you're a part of this, let me fill you in on the rest of it, just for your own satisfaction. That's what I get. Well, good deal. So excellent. So the dispatch and just that life, and you said, you know what? I love, I love Was that part of it? I wanted the outcomes on these things. I'm tired of forgetting to have the story. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think having the outcome of whatever call you're taking is really important.
Absolutely.
It gives the dispatchers a closure on what they just dealt with.
But I also think the training you had keeping people calm on the phone is going to translate very well and keep them calm in the field, even more so. You know what I mean? So because I think that part's going to the psychiatrist side of your profession now will serve you very well. All right, maybe we should go to the back row now here. All right. We want to come on up here. Let's get you close to the microphones. We're going to do a musical
you guys
chair.
just want to stand up and trade chairs?
There we go. We can do that. There we go.
Sometimes
we can do that.
Be the sheriff to tell them.
And this is why he's the sheriff. He's the director here. He orchestrates everybody here.
Yeah,
so, all right. As our next round of deputies get situated here, we'll start with Deputy Vera here. Go ahead and introduce yourself and where you're from and why you decided to become a deputy here in Chaves County.
Hi, I'm Angelo Vera. I'm born and raised here in Roswell. Okay. My whole life, 26 years.
All right.
So
you're 26.
Yes, sir.
You're young looking, man. I was like, this guy did 21. Young.
Yeah, 26.
You look younger than 26. That's
Thank
a good thing.
Yeah.
I know now you're like, oh man. Yeah. Trust me, you get my age, it's a blessing.
I appreciate that. So yeah, born and raised here. Okay. We got a lot of family here. My dad's part of my family. His family's in Texas, McAllen.
So you got like a foot here and then some family in Texas.
Some family
there.
in Texas,
okay.
yeah.
Excellent.
And the reason I wanted to become a deputy was I was in a bad accident when I was younger in elementary school.
Okay.
Second grade, I believe.
Okay.
And rolled a goat-kart, me, my brother, and my cousin, and almost lost my right arm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so at the hospital, there was an RPD officer there. I don't know what she's doing now, but she went.
I hope she's listening.
Yeah.
I hope she remembers this. She's like, wow, I just inspired somebody. Yeah. How cool is that?
She went to the hospital and seen me there and talked to me there, and then they flew me out from here to Lubbock for surgery. When I got back, she would always check on me at school, always at my house.
She's got to remember you then.
Yeah. Yeah, and then so I told her, I was like, one day I'm going to be like you. She always put a smile on my face. So
that's cool.
Just get out there to the community.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you never know what someone's going through, so just talk to them. Yeah.
Awesome. So literally since that moment, this has been like this is what I want to do. Yeah. So I got to ask, since this is like your first time here as a deputy sheriff, has the expectations matched the anticipation? Like I'm sure you've built it up in your head and like you've been thinking how this is going to go down. What you've experienced so far, how has that jibed with your expectations?
Matches pretty good, I guess.
Does it?
Yeah,
okay.
it's.
Because I know sometimes we overinflate things and we think, we all think, the image of America, the guns, that's all in our head.
Yeah,
and in real life,
that's all movie,
this, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's all movie, yeah.
The one thing you can guarantee is he didn't know it required this much running.
Yeah.
That's why he's got the hesitation.
Now, dude, I've watched years and years of cops. Yeah. They're always running.
And the next part is the fun of the job. And actually what you're wanting to do comes after the academy. Yeah. That's whenever you really start to get to involve yourself in people's lives, do things, and that's where you're going to make the differences. And so right now, he's just in the butt-kicking stage, getting himself ready for the academy. And,
this is what, iron sharpens iron. That's always, you want to believe it or not, it's just fact, and you got to have some of that when especially what at the end of the day what you're being trained for. To serve and to protect. You're in essence the last line of defense in many of these situations here. So to get ready to do that is not all kumbaya and sunshines and rainbows. It takes some hard work and days where you're testing your own fortitude and things like that. That's I was in the military, so I can kind of understand a little that scenario.
Same.
But the thing, and I think that you guys are experiencing now, and if I'm not, tell me. But I think now you're building the cool part of what it is to be. I mean, yes, you're going through the suck together, but at the same time, you're doing it together. And I imagine, especially the six of you, since you've probably done a lot together and kind of been in a lot of the same. That creates that bond. And it's going to translate into the street. You know what I mean? And that's where you guys are going through the suck together now. This is going to translate. You're going to want to take a bullet for each other after.
Yes,
you.
sir.
It's just it creates that bond and that kinship out there.
Yeah.
So it's really trust me. The days that it sucks, it does get better, and it does worth it. And there are going to be days 10 years from now you look back, remember that? Oh, that kicked our butt. There's going to be those moments there. So, all right, let's continue our deputy introduction here. Introduce yourself and tell us where you're from, and tell us why you decided to become a Chaves County Sheriff's Deputy.
Yes, sir. My name is Angel Guevara. I grew up in Carlsbad. I just moved to Roswell about 5 years ago.
Okay.
Love it here.
Excellent.
The reason why I wanted to become a deputy is because I think in the summer of 2023, Sheriff, I took my summer internship to finish my degree.
Okay.
And I took it with the Chaves County Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
For 2 months, I went on ride-alongs with patrol, the CID, went through evidence, looked at everything, and
made some relationships.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I liked is that they push that you need to speak to people with respect.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just go in there gung ho. When we're out,
respect is earned.
When we're out in the middle of nowhere, backups probably 30 minutes away. You're gonna have to talk to those people with respect.
Yeah,
and it makes it easier on you, makes it easier on everybody. Because
Sure.
these people aren't calling you to have a tea party. That's probably having.
You're seeing them at their worst.
Time.
You're seeing them at their worst, and you're trying to make it. You're trying to make lemonade out of lemons.
Yes.
Is that what you're trying? Sheriff, I have an idea.
Yes.
You talked about being mad and this thing. I've never seen people arguing mad with an ice cream cone in their hand.
Yeah.
Of all the deputy tools, I know we got some cool gadgets now out there. Why can't we slip a soft serve ice cream machine in the back there?
Deputies to eat it.
Yeah. Well, maybe you put a code key on it where only. But I'm saying,
it's hard to talk.
It's like
to talk to the public with a
right. If
mouthful
they're
of
kicking and screaming, it's like, hold on a second. There you go. Now let's talk. I'm just saying.
I've seen some pretty verbal arguments between people and snow cones.
It's hard to be mad when you got an ice cream cone in your hand. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's right.
Work on. I mean, maybe we can get Santa Fe. We get some legislators on this and work that into the budgets. Every SUV police vehicle will have a soft serve ice cream cone by the end of the decade. Yeah, we can do that. All right, let's give you a chance to introduce yourself.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? Or last but not least here.
I'm Deputy Stephen Gonzalez. I grew up in the Midwest.
Okay.
I'm 34 years old.
Okay.
I went to.
So this is not your first rodeo. You've been seeing the world for a little bit before you decided to come
yeah, I've
to
traveled
Chaves County
around.
here. Good deal.
So I went to school down in North Carolina, Charlotte.
Okay.
And afterwards, I decided to join the Army.
Okay.
And I got stationed at Fort Hood, which is now Fort Cavazos.
Yes, they did change names.
They changed the
here.
name. And
so
I
you
did-
got sent to Texas.
Yep,
It happens.
I did 6 years, 6 years active duty, and afterwards I decided I wanted to do military police.
Okay.
So I joined the New Mexico National Guard and moved out here.
Okay.
And I also wanted to be a police officer. So
Okay.
actually, my
So
first
you've got law enforcement prior to coming in here through military.
a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Now, when you were full-time Army, were you law enforcement then too, or is that
no,
different?
I did a MOS swap. So I was a 15 Charlie, which is a UAS operator. So I did reconnaissance and surveillance.
Okay.
And then, but I wanted to be, so like when you're in reconnaissance, you see everything from the sky and you see everything happen on the ground.
Sure.
I wanted to be on the ground. I didn't want to be watching all the action from the sky.
Yeah,
So,
you
like,
need better eyes to be.
I
up
want to be
there
able to
see.
support support my fellow soldiers and
Absolutely.
and stuff
That's
like
cool.
that.
And I imagine that translates too. I mean, obviously your law enforcement experience in the military is going to translate, but even the operational skills you learn in the monitoring and observing and report siding of
Yeah.
the military definitely will translate too. And it's certainly, I would imagine, because you've gone through military, some of the experiences, maybe the folks that didn't, that the running, the butt kicking part, you kind of been a little well versed on that side already here.
So the running part, it's actually harder. It's actually harder training here with the running.
Well, that's
than-
true. It is 105, and let's face it, he's 26. I get it. I'm 51. I know 34 and 26 are not the same.
Yeah. Like last week they had us, or this week on Monday we did 8 miles around the Bottomless lakes.
I don't think I drove my car 8 miles that day.
8 miles. That was rough.
I worked hard at not working hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. So what made you come here? You know, of all, like, you know, you've been what brought you to Chaves County?
So one of the main reasons was the military bonus.
Gotcha. Excellent.
And the guard.
Money brings a lot of people, but hey, I like money. Yeah, everyone likes money. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so I sat down with a guard recruiter and we went over to the different states I could join, the different bonuses and the different MOSs. And I chose New Mexico, and it wasn't far from where I was at in Killeen.
Okay.
It was only an 8-hour drive.
So are you a single man, or do you have family in tow with you?
I'm recently divorced.
Okay.
Like, as of
Ladies?
5-6 months ago.
Not till after
you need some support here.
Keep all that separate from the academy.
Very good. Good deal. So very cool. So I'm just curious, and you guys in the back just run up and chime in. What's like thing you're most looking forward to at the academy? Is there a certain aspect or part of the training, or is it the overall experience? What's the part you're looking most forward to? And maybe the opposite, conversely, the thing you're dreading. Because I'm sure there's something in there too.
I would say graduation.
Graduation. Looking forward to that part. Not dreading that part. Looking forward to that. That's a look forward to part. Okay. Well, anybody else? Anybody a thing you're excited about, or a particular thing, or skill, or opportunity, or?
I'll say more of the training. Aspect.
Yeah, get you close to the mic. That way they can hear you.
I'll say more of the training aspect.
Okay.
Not much of the bookwork though.
Right. Well, yeah. When you're dreaming of being a cop, it's not studying the law. It's you driving in the car, sliding over the hood, freeze, sucker. Oh, that's what we're thinking of. And I just learned about the law today.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that people learn when they come into law enforcement. The exciting part of being out there and chasing people and doing things, that's a very small percentage of what you do. We do lots of reports. We do lots of court. So we are testifying, we're writing things down.
Unless you're a law enforcement officer on TV, then you do it all the time.
Yes.
But in real life, no, it's more
for
what
30
Sheriff's
minutes
talking
on
about.
TV, you're doing it all. But in real life, they're like, oh my God, I got 15 reports to do. I've got to
They skip those parts in the Law and Order TV shows and all that.
And that's one of the good things about the academy is that it teaches you that you don't have to fear court or fear talking to people, because this is what your job consists of.
Sure.
Your job is to go out and get justice for the people who you're representing in court, which is the victim.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're going in and when you're out on the scene, we are looking to prove somebody not only guilty but innocent. So you have to have that open mind, but you have to be very much aware of what is going on, but document everything.
Sure.
So one of the things about the academy, the reason it's a lot of written and it's a lot of tests and it's a lot of things, because that's what police work actually is.
Sure.
Everything is written down, and it is actually a true statement. If it's not written, it didn't happen.
Sure.
So you got to be able to do it because.
Well, and I know, especially when you get into your evidence gathering side, you're working a case.
Yep.
You know, everything's got to be done above board, by the book, multiple eyes. You know, because it's evidence, and any time it's not done by the book, it's considered tampering, and that throws a case out. And someone that could be guilty of sin gets thrown out because someone didn't collect the evidence correctly. And that is a huge. That's probably the biggest thing they, when they teach, it's like, do this right, because that's a lot of times the difference between people getting justice served and not getting justice served because of a simple mistake in how the operation was done there. I mean, you see, just look at the Baldwin case that we just saw on TV. Yeah. That prosecution screwed that up royally.
Sure
They walked because people didn't follow procedures. And so you guys are probably that's constantly beating it into your head. You do it the right way, do it the right way, do it the right way.
The other thing is the role playing. You get to make mistakes in role playing that you're not going to be able to make in real life, that actually teach you how to deal with people.
Well, that's when you're supposed to make the mistakes in role playing.
That's exactly right. So this is their opportunity to go there, make mistakes, learn from them, and do it, because when you get out here and you make mistakes, it costs you money. It can cost you your life, or it can cost somebody else their life.
Mm-hmm.
And so the academy is the perfect training ground if you take it serious and you go in there and you understand that each day that they go through, it is so easy to monkey around during role playing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can get in there and take it serious and treat it as though it's real, you will learn so much.
Absolutely.
Because they absolutely know nothing right now.
Well, it's like sports coaches or military. You practice how you play, and it's the same thing kind of deal here. And I get it in a practice environment. Yeah, no one's dying today.
Yeah.
So there is a little you screwed that up, but you put that in their mind. It's like, okay, when it comes to real world, that is something I need to make sure I don't do again. And that's But that again, that's part of that camaraderie too. We were talking about earlier. You make the mistakes in the room and screw it, and then you rib each other, but you learn from it, and then you lift each other up later. That's kind of how it works. But you give them a hard time at the moment. It's like, bah! And then you think, all right, buddy, let's go.
And one thing about law enforcement officers, and pretty much every job in general, we rib each other a lot. It's
you have to.
It's you. This is like your brothers and your sisters, and this is where you make fun of, you talk about, but it's all right here, and it's all in fun.
It's all mental health, too.
It's all mental health, and that is the best, like I tell everybody, that is the best counseling session you can ever have, is to be there amongst people and just be able to let go sometimes, or to talk about the things that are giving you hard times. And
sure.
And as you know, in law enforcement right now, suicide is at an all-time high. Actually in the world for just general.
Well, and this is why I admire the six of you, not even before I even meet you, just walking in the room, because quite frankly, all six of you have signed up to serve in a career that, let's face it, you live in a world now where, back in the day, everyone loved the guy in the badge. You know what I mean? And now, maybe, but maybe they may just be mad at you because you're wearing that uniform. You didn't do a dang thing except walk in the room. And for you to sign up, I mean, all of you said your reasons. Some of you had very personal reasons. Some just like, this is a cool opportunity, I want to do it. But because you said, I want to do a job that, quite frankly, isn't the most popular thing to be right now. And so much respect for you guys for doing that, because it takes people with guts to say, I want to do the right thing, even if I might lose friends over this, or people might think less of me for doing this, but because it's the right thing, I'm going to do it. And it's sad that we have to tell people, because quite frankly, I grew up in a world, and I still believe to this day, a person in a badge is your friend. That's someone that you can talk to no matter what you're doing, if you need them, or if you're just sitting there minding your business and one comes by, hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? That's the world we live in. And I think a lot of people think that, but we just have this sect that we don't. So so much respect for you guys for saying, you know what, I'm going to do something that's needed, even though I'm going to have to make sacrifices to do this. And when I hope the public appreciates that when you guys are on the beat doing your day to day.
Well, and that's one of the things that they've already started to learn, that at the Chaves County Sheriff's Office, it's not only about patrolling and going out and catching the bad guy. They've already been doing community events. They've been out there in the public,
sure,
and getting water thrown on them at the Home Depot thing, or whatever it may be, is something that the kids were having a blast doing that.
Mascot is kind of an offside job of a deputy or a sheriff. It just kind of is sometimes.
Yeah, it really
Same
is.
as a radio guy.
Yeah. And the people have to know that. And one thing here in Chaves County, with even the Roswell Police Department, the state police, people in this community still respect law enforcement. Now, there are some that wave at you with one finger.
There's always one in every room. Yes.
There's always somebody. But the reality of it is, the majority of our community still respects police, because they know they are treated with respect as well.
Sure. And this is something
just professionally. That's the main thing.
Absolutely. And this is something that, from day one as sheriff, that you've always talked about and said, my deputies are going to be at events. Yeah. You see Rise Over Roswell, you see a thing going on at the convention center, or Halloween, or whatever, any community event, our deputies are going to be standing there, just being there to talk to people, help out. We'll bring our cars, let you all come in and blow horns and blow whistles and do all the fun, let the kids climb all over things and do, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Just being there at a part of the community and showing that light that, hey, these folks are just like us, you know? And then you talk football. How many football fans here? Almost all of you. You know, I think that's your go-to.
They're all Bronco fans right now, I believe. I believe.
I don't know about the Broncos stole the Bears colors.
I'm from DC. That's my team. I'm for the first time in like 30 years. I'm like, we might actually have a team that's not embarrassing.
That's right. Yeah.
And I'm an age where I grew up when the Redskins were like, good.
Yes.
Like they were respected. Like we won Super Bowls, and everybody's like, this team's great. And then Dan Snyder bought them, and But anyway, but like for the first time in years, I'm going to tell everybody. I don't care. I haven't been able to tell people in 30 years, so you're going to have to hear it. Yeah, I'm excited about my team.
I was just going to say, this is our year.
And that's one of the things that I really want them to understand, that just like our teams that we like to go out and wear our team colors and all that, we wear our uniforms with pride. We really want people to know that when we show up, we are a team, that we have people that are coming, and that's the one thing that I really try to instill in everyone coming in through the training they get.
Sure.
This is your world right now. Everything that you do, this is what you're going to do. Not everybody outside of this job is going to agree with what you do.
Sure.
But everybody here who's sitting with us understands why we do what we do.
Well, and you have a profession now that really just defines a bit about you before you walk in a room.
That's right.
Like if you're a salesman, or you sell insurance, or you sell cars, or you cook food, you know, that's your job.
Yeah.
And you go home and you're whoever you are. And yes, at the end of the day, you guys go home to your family and you're you. But everyone in the public looks at you as an officer first. You know what I mean? Everyone that knows you will know you through the badge. And so by default, you're representing, whether they know, you know what I mean? It's a little different than the rest of us. It's like, I sell insurance. Okay, good for you. You know?
And that's a factual statement that you deal with. In this job, we deal with so many people that you may not remember dealing with somebody for a call, but they remember you, and they will always remember you, just like he was talking about. That impression that you make, and that is by taking their problem, no matter how small.
Deputy
it is,
Vera's story
serious.
is proof in the pudding right there. Absolutely, yeah.
And we have to, and we teach, no matter how small you think their problem is, it is the biggest thing in the world to them.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to make sure they understand we are there for them. We have a team that is going to help them get through whatever problems they're having, or protect them or keep them safe. That's our whole goal. So that's good.
I got a question. We were talking about equipment and stuff, so I'm going to go a little more light on this one. I'm just curious, because I know, I mean, obviously you guys get issued your equipment and you do most of it here, but I know also, like, police officers and shopping for gear are like women in purses and shoes. You know what I mean by that? It's like it's like, ooh, here's the latest gadget. Yeah. Like, do you guys have that bug? Or are you kind of like always online shopping the websites? Ooh, that would be a way better set of head cuffs. Or
we're about to see that with cowboy hats. But yes. So you know, one thing is, and I'll tell you, when you get this outfit and this uniform. You want it to look good, so you look at all the little things that are out there. You want everything in the world.
Sure.
And,
your pieces of flair.
Yes. And so that's one of the reasons that I came up with this outfit.
Okay.
And it's because it really does stand out. People all over the state love this look.
And it's got to be tactical too, because it's got to look good, but it's got to function. You got to, there's got to, you carry a bunch of gear. You got to have access to it easily, quickly, and.
I was one of the first sheriffs in New Mexico, actually one of the first law enforcement agencies to go to the outer carrier.
Okay.
And you remember us having that conversation that people believed that this was a basically an intimidating look. But what it is actually it puts all your gear on the front.
Sure.
And more importantly, on a 115-degree day, you can just unzip the front and let some air in.
Which is, I'm sure, something you're very thankful for.
Yeah. So, whenever I first started, we wore our vests underneath our shirts. And when you would go home at night, you'd have one of those back scratcher things trying to scratch because you would get rashes.
I'm sure it smelled
heat.
lovely too.
Oh, so I went to this appearance, but one, when people say it makes you look aggressive or intimidating, when we're showing up on a call, your appearance and your approach can calm a situation down just by the way you look.
Well, and let's face it, when a law enforcement officer walks on the scene, they're in charge.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I want a guy in charge that looks like they're in charge.
Yes. So,
just saying.
So there is a lot of pride in this, but it's just like Roswell High and Goddard and all these NIMI and everybody, their uniform, just like during the playoffs, they change things up because they want that shock and awe.
Sure.
And so that's the same thing with us. When we show up, our vehicles are great, actually fantastic. Our uniforms are great. Our personalities are great. And our ability to do the job is off the chart.
Well, you got to look the part to be the part.
Yeah, we're going to win.
You don't see CEOs showing up in sweatpants and T-shirts to the board meeting. They're wearing their $1,000 Marnie suits because they want to look like a baller.
That's right.
And they are ballers. In law enforcement, I'm just sorry. A guy shows up in T-shirt and shorts and a tank top and says, "What are y'all doing here?" I'm sorry, you're not going to treat them with the same respect as a deputy sheriff that comes up fully geared and professional. And one more. We're almost out of time, but I do have this question too, and this is another goofball question. Is there like classes? Maybe you learn one at the academy. Like, is there official police lingo classes? Like, anytime you get like your public information officers or anybody reporting to the media, there's always the talk, the perp, this and that, the talk, and this, and that third person-y. So, like, is that an official class that you teach law enforcement officers to talk like that? Because that's a skill set. I don't care.
So there actually is public information officer classes.
Okay.
But there's also language that we teach and speak because it is less radio time.
Gotcha.
So
more efficient.
Makes sense. Just like the codes and everything else, a lot of states have gone away from the codes. But for us, to say a burglary in progress at this location, if I can just say, a code 15, that's the same thing. Code 15, this address. And then it's the same thing. So I just put all that into one little word.
Yeah.
Or, I need help, code 2. Code 2.
Well, if y'all have trouble with that, you know who to talk to. You know all the codes and everything else in this matter.
So, exactly. And so it is important to minimize your time on the radio because other people may be screaming for help or whatever it may be.
If you've watched any of like your live patrols, and half the time, the sheriff's got a handful of something going on while they're trying to be on the radio saying, their information. So
So that's what it is. But yes, we teach them that, but a lot of it they bring in on their own. So it's pretty crazy. It's good.
I love it. It makes me. I'm just like, ooh, I can't wait. It's like coach speak when you watch coaches talk, and they're like, oh, here we go. I can predict what he's going to say before he says it.
But I do want to thank you for having us all here today.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you, and like I said, thank you for stepping up and doing what you guys do. We're rooting for your success, and we're wishing you luck here at the academy. And stay safe, and hope every day is a day you get to go home with your family and have a great day. That's a win if we can do it all there.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Thank you.
And once I get them out on their own, I'll have them come back in and see you.
That's right.
That way they can kind of tell you what the experience was like, how things are going, and
any hot food eaters.
I am.
I know you are. That was do you know your sheriff has got an iron stomach?
I got the
I've seen that man eat things like those chocolates, those Scoville chocolates that they're like 12,000 that you can buy them for like $10 or $50. He ate. They come in these little squares, and one guy ate one. Or Sean, he was crying, spitting, couldn't talk. He ate like half the candy bar and barely burped. I'm just saying.
Major pain.
Challenge him. Game on. I'm just saying.
I can do the one-tip challenge. I've done it.
Oh, he laughs at that.
So, but we do thank you very much, and like I said, once
thank
again,
you, Sheriff.
we do appreciate everything you do for our community.
And
so thank you.
Right back at you, and good to see you're doing well on the knee thing.
Yes.
And pretty soon he's going to be kicking and karate chopping pretty soon.
Yeah, I'll be moving and shaking.
There you go. All right, it is 9 o'clock. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. News in progress.
You may have seen some new television ads in this past week by Republican Senate candidate Nella Domenici. Domenici showing her opposition to a national ban on abortion. Domenici is trying to unseat incumbent Democrat Senator Martin Heinrich in the November election. The 30-second ad is titled Trusted and notes that abortion is legal in New Mexico and she wants it to stay that way. Domenici says she strongly opposes any federal abortion ban and says women should be trusted and respected. The Artesia Bulldogs football team is opening practice. They'll be opening the season on August 23rd against Carlsbad. The Bulldogs will try to take their third consecutive state 5A title. The program deep with experience this year, 40 seniors on the roster this year under Coach Jeremy Maupin. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. This week, we'll bring some high-profile reports on the health of the U.S. economy. We'll get updates on inflation, retail sales, and unemployment. Last week started with a bang, but ended rather subdued. Last week, more big American companies joined the list of those reporting better than expected profits in the spring quarter. The Labor Department releases its monthly Consumer Price Index on Wednesday. The Commerce Department delivers its latest snapshot of retail sales Thursday, and its July tally of housing on Friday. In the name of consumer protection, a slew of U.S. federal agencies working to make it easier for Americans to click the unsubscribe button for unwanted memberships and recurring payment services. Comes with the launch of a broad new government initiative dubbed Time is Money. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Roswell's home for talk radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
And that's going to do it for us. If you missed any part of the show, you log on to ksvptv.com and click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel. You'll find all of our videos there. We'll be back bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow with an all-new show. Have an amazing day. Thanks for allowing us to be a part. Take care.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott.